Wait, I forgot to mute that. I forgot to mute it. There we go. Okay. Okay. All right, a little bit of an error right at the start of the stream, but that just means I won't make any more. Hey, what's up, guys? I know that I need to have a schedule. I know that I need to have a schedule, or at the very least, I should tell you guys when I'm gonna go live so you know ahead of time, right? So you aren't scrambling. But I kind of have some shit I gotta do tomorrow. I wanted to stream on Sunday, but I got some shit I gotta do on Sunday. So I'm gonna do this now because I would rather get to it early than get to it a little bit too late. Because I want to talk about some other shit the Monday stream. Also, I'm kind of busy trying to put out a video. I got a video that I really, really, really want to put out by Martin Luther King Day. And, that one's been kind of stretching me thin. But hey, whatever. I wanted to get out this video on MLK Day. It has to be on that day. And when you guys see the video, you'll know why. Anyway, happy to see you guys. No preview. I'm not even going to put it up. I'm not even going to put up like a post to give you guys a hint. I'm just going to drop it. I'm just going to drop it quietly. I might drop it while I'm streaming on Monday. I don't know. Well, you guys will see. Anyway, a lot of stuff has been happening first month of 2026. It's called Big 2026 for a reason. We understand this now. Just every week, just something new in politics, something new geopolitically, domestically, something new in internet drama, something new in gaming news every time, right? It's the first month and it's just been banger after banger, bro. This week alone, we haven't even made it to Sunday, and there's been so much fucking drama this week. If you're a drama tuber, if you're in the same genre of YouTubing as I am in, you are fucking drowning in nectar. It's just been endless, bro. Just been flowing like Venezuelan oil is about to be for the United States. It just won't stop. I won't say RIP to Turkey Tom's career. I will say he's on Tom is on some live by the sword, die by the sword type timing. Because from what I can see, it's not on the level of he's running a cult, he's running a Discord kitten Discord, and he's like fucking around with minors, or I don't know, he killed somebody. It's not on that level, but it's on the level of a lot of the people that Tom has made documentaries about. And I'm sorry, bro. When you put yourself in that lane, there are just certain things you can't be. Like, if I ever start doing any grifter type shit, you guys would put me in front of a firing squad, because I can't live that sort of lifestyle after I've made all the videos I've made about how grifters are just the scum of the earth. I gotta conduct myself in a certain type of way, right? Yeah, BPD girls, not even once. These niggas never learn. They never learn. Never ever fuck around with you really should be cautious around e-girls specifically, right? E-girls in general, and e-girls who have BPD especially. Just like, keep your distance. But no, he had to learn. You would think Tom of all people would know better, but I guess not. Anyway, that's for another stream, maybe even another. I won't say I'll make a video about Tom. I will say I'm keeping track. I'll wait and see what's going on. I feel like enough people have inputted enough for, the story to go on by itself. Anyway, moving on to Nicholas. Oh wait, hold up. Before we even get started, let me go ahead and put this on the screen for you guys. Hold up. Let me see something real quick. That is the wrong window. That is the window we're going to be looking at later. Okay. First we get here. I'm going to put this in. I'll get to the super chats in a minute, guys. Just want to put this here, right here. No, not that. I'm all over the place. Okay. There you go. That's where all the stream VODs are. You just got to shout out the playlist. This playlist has all the stream VODs. This VOD will also go into this playlist once we're done. I like to keep all the VODs hidden. I don't know, maybe I won't keep this one hidden because this is a happy day for all of us, I feel. Especially for me, because I told you guys, right? I told you guys November to January, that is the most cursed time for Nick Fuentes. Like a fucking the space in between dimensions just gets thin enough that his Mexican Aryan demon child aura just starts going haywire and just all sorts of fuck shit starts happening to himself and people around him, right? Apparently Clavicular, he's about to be a dad. Like literally the worst case scenario for that nigga. He's about to get that Dax Herrera type treatment. That nigga's about to be a daddy. And as for Nick, well, it looks like the generational run is finally wraps because Nick, the king of hot takes, finally gave a take so hot that not even the normies, not even the mainstream that he's been spending the entire latter half of 2025 courting can just like, even they can't take this shit anymore. Even they can't be like, no, Nick, what the fuck? Like, he's trying to push the Overton window on this issue. And that issue is that sleeping with people, sleeping with minors, 14 to 17, technically isn't pedophilia. That doesn't make you a pedophile. Nick Fuentes has come out and said that Jeffrey Epstein technically wasn't a pedophile because his victims were only 14 to 17. That's what he said. Those are literally his words, right? Well, not literally his words, but this is the gist of what he was saying. He was saying that, you know, those aren't children. Girls who are 14 to 17, those aren't children, right? So technically, Jeffrey Epstein wasn't a pedophile. This is what Nick is trying to say. And of course, his groypers are like, yes, Nick, that's so base, Nick. You're so right, Nick. And all the other people, literally everyone else on the right, on the left, on the center, just normies who don't even know anything about this shit. They're just like looking in. They're like, what the fuck is bro talking about? What are you talking about, Nick? What do you mean that's not pedophilia? Sleeping with a 14-year-old when you're like a 50-year-old man isn't pedophilia? What do you mean? So we're going to get to it because Nick has so graciously given us a whole ass. Hold up, wait, how long is it again? Well, let me open it up. Let me open it up, and then I'll look at super chats in a bit. No, this is the wrong one. That's a different clip we're gonna look at. There we go. He's giving us a nice 18-minute chunk, 18-minute monologue about the truth, about how sleeping with children 14 to 17, technically, you know, raping minors isn't the same thing as raping minors, according to Nicholas J. Fuentes. So before we get into this, because it's the lie, it's going to get hefty. And I know I'm going to be stopping a lot because almost every other word that comes out of bro's mouth is just insane. This is one of the craziest, yes, test tube monster. This is one of the craziest test tube monster rants we've gotten in a while, right? And it just goes to show how cracked Nick's mind is and how you can't tard wrangle this guy. You can't do anything with Nick. This is why everybody who's ever been a tart wrangler for Nick, James Alsop, Patrick Casey, Jaden, Milo, recently Tucker Carlson tried, they all fail. You can't do anything with this fucking Frankenstein made in a lab ass abomination that is Nicholas J. Fuentes. He's a lost cause. Your buddy Brady, thanks for the $5. Mikey, be a bro and talk about the game. Reload it real quick for a minute and then make it a YouTube short for it. I don't even know what that game is. I'll check it out though. Penrose Love, thanks for the 5. You follow Styx Hexenhammer? I do. He seems to be crashing out super hard, and every video he's been putting out has been while he's clearly wasted. Oh, well, he's really just, I mean, that's the spiral he's been that's the spiral he's been going down for a while now. So it's just gotten worse. And I predict the final crash out to the Styx arc against him and his evil exes is it's gonna end badly. It's gonna end very badly for Styx. I think Styx is legit going to prison. 71M Laps. I think that's what it is. Thank you for the $5 Australian, is it? Free boot my Jackie Singh video so it stays alive on YouTube. Huge respect from Australia. You should dig deeper into Patrick and Opie and Anthony. Oh no, I know who Patrick Tomlinson is. Definitely, brother. Her Oh no, excuse me. Her Wagner. Thank you for the 149 euros. Ballin, thank you for the $5. There's some weird obsession with BPD girls on the internet. Personally, I never found them appealing, especially goth girls or whatever. Well, hold on. Let me get to that before we get to this. Kirk127, thanks for the $2. Love your work. Praying for your further success. All right. Now, before we get into this, Ballin 3048, let me explain to you about e-girls and dudes on the internet who continue messing with them even though if you're an e-celebrity, you should know better why they keep happening why it keeps happening. It's because despite only making like 13%, despite only making up like 13% of the female population, e-girls make up like 50% of women with BPD. I don't know why it is. Maybe it's, I don't know whether it's a chicken and the egg situation. They become e-girls because they have the BPD or because, you know, I don't know. I don't know which comes first and which follows or where the correlation starts and ends. But that's something I have observed, right? So if you're a dude, and this is why, number one, you shouldn't try and date e-girls. Number two, you shouldn't try and like date e-girls who start off as your fans. Like you shouldn't be going out of your way to fuck fans. That's not a good idea. But you know, a lot of these dudes, they don't take that advice anyway. And they end up in these situations where, you know, just by circumstance, they end up messing with a girl who's not all the way up there correctly. And they end up in situations like Turkey Tom right now. So, you know, if you're an e-celebrity and you're trying to, you know, get with a girl, try to not, you know, date girls who are also e-celebrities. And if you do, don't date girls who are e-celebrities and who are fans of you, right? Girls who are your fans are like the last people you should date. They're just, Tinder is better, really. Anyway, moving on to that. Now we're going to get to Nick Fuentes. Great, I don't know, I guess his fucking rehabilitation rant of Jeffrey Epstein, not his character. I'll give Nick this little benefit of the doubt, right? Well, I'll be charitable to Nick in this aspect in that he's not really trying to rehabilitate the image of Jeffrey Epstein as a sexual deviant, you know, as like, you know, a monster. He's trying to rehabilitate the idea that just because you're into girls who are 14 to 17, right? Like you have sex with a girl who's high school to late middle school age, that doesn't necessarily make you a pedophile. Now he's wrong, but that's the argument he's trying to make.
Last revolutionary sent $20. I know it wasn't your main point, but feminists have completely dominated men with the word pedo. They took what was natural male sexuality for all human history and conflated it with child fucking to shame men away from it and artificially increase the sexual value of hags. How old was Mary again when God impregnated her?
Dude,
okay,
brother,
so this is insane. Right from the beginning, the thing that starts this, anybody else gets a super chat like this, they immediately, either they disavow it immediately, or they're like, whoa, bro, okay, thanks for the $20, I don't know about that one, right? That's what the response is to be. Nick puts his hands up, tilts his eyes up to God, and he's like, finally, someone is speaking facts. Finally, I have somebody speaking facts in the fucking chat. Amen to that, brother.
So true. That is so absolutely true.
Like, let me read this back to you guys. I know it wasn't your main point, but feminists have completely dominated men with the word pedo. Yes, it was feminists. It was feminists who are the reason why men had a problem with other middle-aged men fucking girls the age of their 12, 13-year-old daughter. That was men. No other dude had a problem with that until like feminism started taking off in the late 60s, early 70s and shit. That was just like regular shit, you know?
And listen,
absolutely. If you went to like any random town in early 1900s America and you were like 40 or something and you tried to flirt with some dude's 13-year-old daughter, absolutely that girl's dad wouldn't have tried to fucking punch your teeth in and tell you to get the fuck away from his property. 100%, you know, that definitely wouldn't have happened.
Niggas are not ready for that conversation, but Jeff Epstein, not a pedophile. You're not ready for that.
You know, you guys aren't ready for this. You guys aren't ready for this hottest of hot takes. But Jeffrey Epstein isn't really a pedophile. You know, actually, I guess I was being too charitable to Nick, because he really is just flat out saying that Jeffrey Epstein isn't a pedophile. He's like this Nick Fuentes is the only nigga on planet Earth who would say this. Everybody else is like, no, he was definitely a pedophile, like 100%. Nick Fuentes is the first guy in like, since Jeffrey Epstein, since it got revealed, since he got arrested, who's been like, no, he's not a pedophile for real.
Conversation. All of his victims, 14 to 17. That's not pedophilia.
Okay, so I'm not going to bring up what a photo of a 14-year-old girl, because, you know, for obvious reasons, but you guys all know what 14-year-old girls look like. You know that a dude Epstein's age, or really a dude in his fucking 20s, really, dating a girl, trying to sleep with a girl who's 14, who looks 14. You know what that's pedophilia, bro. 14-year-olds, I don't know. Maybe he's been watching too much anime. Maybe he's been playing too many video games. I don't know, but like the average 14-year-old girl, she looks like she's underaged, right? Maybe there are like a handful. You know, there's some girls who are 17 who look like they could pass for being legal age, right? There are definitely no 14-year-old girls who look like, you know, who don't obviously look underage. So I don't know, like, this is crazy, dude.
But y'all,
I'm actually lost for words here because it's so insane. Because I knew this was going to happen. I knew at some point, Nick was going to he was going to fuck his own shit up. He's been riding high the whole latter half of 2025. He's been getting boosted. He's been getting taken to the mainstream, to that next level. And I knew he was going to do something to just shut it all down for himself. Just oy vey himself, you know, back into the dissident right sewers where he belongs, just like he always had. I didn't think it would be like this. I didn't think he would go this route. I didn't think that the thing that would kill Nick Fuentes' generational run of the last few months would be him saying that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't a pedophile. Would be him saying that fucking a girl who's 14, 15, 16 isn't pedophile. That's insane.
Niggas ain't ready.
Also, he's fundamentally wrong about how Jeffrey Epstein's victims are all fucking 14 to 17. That's just like objectively wrong. There have been women who launched complaints that said that Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were making victims out of her as young as 13. There have been some who said it was 12. There have been some, and this one, you know, this one isn't like, you know, as concrete as the others, that said it was as low as 11. So no, like, objectively, he's wrong. He's wrong in like every sense. Like objectively, morally, legally, he's wrong it's just 18 minutes, almost 20 minutes of Nick being objectively wrong about everything, dude. King Caprice, thanks for the $2. Megan Kelly said it on air last month. Oh, wow. Okay. James Griffin, thanks for the $10. We'll have to watch the VOD later, but keep up the great work, Mikey. Thanks, bro. Red Worm 13, thanks for the $2. Fed Fuentes be turning boys into being pedophile. Well, look, dude, let's not give Nick that much credit. I don't believe that you can brainwash, you can Jedi mind trick somebody into being a pedophile. I think that's you were already like that. You were already on that type of timing, and you just saw the opportunity to live your worst life. Let's call it that. Lord of War, thanks for the $20. Big ups, Mikey. I initially dismissed you because I thought you were an interloper like Kiwi Tapes, but your ball knowledge about old IBS lore made it clear you were there in the trenches when it happened. Respect to a real ninja. Hey, thank you, bro.
Ready for that conversation.
We aren't ready for this conversation, Chad. This conversation that nobody, we don't need to have this, bro. He didn't need to go on this rant, but he chose to.
People say that's normalizing pedophilia. No, that's defining pedophilia.
How is it not normalizing pedophilia to say that a dude like lusting and trying to sleep with 14-year-olds isn't a pedophile? How is that anything but it's obvious what you're trying to do here, Nick. You're trying to push the Overton window on fucking sleeping with minors, bro. But this isn't like Israel. Saying, oh, Israel, they have too much influence in our politics. They have too much influence in our policy. We give billions to Israel, IPAC, all these Jews. They use all these powers and these institutions to just do things to help Israel at the expense of the US and shit. That's way easier to red pill normies on than fucking a 14-year-old isn't pedophilia. Those are two completely different weight classes of red pill. This is like you're trying to lift a 50-ton red pill with like your bare hands, bro. You need some industrial type shit for this, man. Yeah. You are not ready for this type of debate. You may think you are, Nick, but you're not.
Pedophilia is sex with children. Children are people that are before the age of sexual maturity. Now, you can have your...
Okay, so Nick is saying if there's grass on the field, play ball.
Opinion.
Because technically, I don't know, bro, they're fucking 12-year-olds who've been, they've been raped and they got pregnant and they had babies, like as before they were even teenagers. So like just saying, oh, this is kind of arbitrary. Saying 14 is like the age where it's arbitrarily you're not a pedophile. I don't know, bro.
Your taste and your ethics and your morals. But after the age of 14,
yes, he is making the Muslim argument. He's making the argument that Muslims who live in like Sneeko doesn't even make this argument anymore. He used to. He definitely used to, but he wisened up and he knew better. He knew how much of a losing battle it was to try and just die on that hill, and he stopped. But Nick is like, nah, I can do this. I can pull this off. I can push this Overton window just like I did the one on Israel. Because Nick really thinks that it was him. Nick and his groypers really think that it was Nick. Nick is the reason why everybody got red pill on Israel in the past few years. Definitely wasn't anything that Israel did in Gaza. Definitely wasn't like people starting to become keen to how much of our politicians take IPAC money and shit like that. That definitely wasn't, no, it was all Nick and his groypers. That's why, that's the reason why.
That is past the point of sexual maturity, just period, biologically. And all of these feminists and all of their accomplices, the simps, they all want to say there's only two genders. They want to talk about reproduction and genitals. Okay, let's talk about reproduction and genitals. When do men and women reach the age of sexual maturity? It ain't 18. It isn't 20. I've seen women say, a 20-year-old girl is a literal child. No, sorry, she's not even a figurative child, let alone a literal child.
That's a completely different 20 and 14. Those are like two completely different dimensions, bro. Like not even in the same stratosphere. Like there's such a big, like the difference between 35 and 55, it's big. It's not that big. Shit, the difference between 20 and 35 isn't that big. It's smaller than the gap between 20 and 14. 19 and 14 is like enormous difference compared to like 25 and 40. I feel like the difference in maturity, the difference in development and all that shit, right? Like if you look at a 14-year-old, if you've been around teenagers, which, sometimes, I go to places, I'm around teenagers, it's usually not a pleasurable experience because they're kind of retarded. If there are any young people in their young teens in the audience, first off, why are you here, little nigga? Go to bed, bro. I don't care if you don't got school tomorrow. Go to bed anyway. Why are you listening to this stream? It's for adults only. But they're dumb. They just don't understand. They don't certain basic concepts that we as adults already understand. They haven't like conceptualized or it hasn't set in there. So I guess for somebody like Nick who has Peter Pan syndrome and he surrounds himself with nothing but like dudes in their early 20s and late teens, he doesn't really understand. He has never seen the gap. It's never really set in for him how different the mind between a 14-year-old and a 20-year-old really is. But it's very obvious. Let's MAGA. Thanks for the $4.99. Nick is a gay op and a fed. I love your quartering streams. And are you going to stream on Kick? The stickers are way better than PooTube. I might migrate to Kick. I haven't like decided on it yet. Black Blade, thanks for the $20. Mikey, big fan, but you jumped the gun on dancing on the biggest problem in the universe's grave. What do you think is next for Vito and Dick Masterson? Nothing. I feel like their career is dead no matter what they do, no matter if they kiss and make up or not. Like their show was already dying. It was already stagnant and dying, and I get better views. I get better views of my videos, of my VODs, on my streams, on my everything than they do. And they've been doing this shit way longer than me. Even if you cut out their careers before they restarted the biggest problem in the universe, those niggas are fucking, they're small time. Itty bitty time now. It's kind of a waste of time, but whatever. Who knows? Maybe they'll turn it all around again. Deep fried cocoa, thank you for the £4.99. The fresher the egg, the creamier the yolk. Nick Fuentes. Red Worm, thanks for the $2. Fuentes is a gay pedophile LARPing as a Catholic.
Do you know what canon law in the Catholic Church says?
Here we go. Hey, it's a good thing I read that super chat.
The minimum age to get married is 14 for women, 16 for men. That's the canon law of the Catholic Church. So you want to pull rank on me?
Do you think that the Pope would ever like say this? You think that the Pope would come out and he would be like, if somebody asked him about the age of consent, he would say, well, I feel like a girl who's 14 and, a boy who's 16, they should be able to like, procreate with anybody, right? You think that the Pope Leo would make that argument? I don't think he would.
With morality, I would take you there.
I think there are lots of canon laws of the Catholic Church that priests and the Pope himself they don't say much about because they understand that you got to move with the times if you want to stay relevant. You can't just keep to what people were doing, what niggas were doing 1,000 years ago. Some shit you just got to let go, bro.
And by the way, that's how it was for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Do you know when age of consent became a thing? Like 30 years ago.
This is another case of Nick just being objectively wrong. No, age of consent was not a thing just like 50, 40 years ago. Age of consent has been a thing for centuries. They had it in the Middle Ages, right? Now, was it as strictly as enforced as the age of consent is today? No, but it was a thing. Even back then, right? In the fucking dark ages and shit, they understood that, okay, we probably should make laws to stop some 40-year-old motherfucker from trying to get some 11 or 12-year-old peasant girl pregnant. We should probably stop doing that. And age of consent laws were enforced in the United States in the fucking 19th century, bro. Like, what is he talking about?
That is a second
He's just saying
wave
shit.
feminist artifact. But you people are not ready for that.
I am ready for this, actually. I would love to have a debate with Nick or any groiper about this specific subject matter, right? Because they are so wrong categorically about everything. Because Nick has not said a single correct thing in 2 minutes.
Ultimately, feminism is the matrix. And that is how women have browbeaten men with this, pedo, rapist, misogyny, all these words.
It wasn't until feminism that men started thinking all of those things were bad. That being a pedo or being a rapist, that those were bad things to be. Really? I'm pretty sure we were hanging dudes for raping people before feminism was a thing. I'm pretty sure that like grown men like attacking, assaulting, sleeping with very, very young women has been a thing before feminism. I don't think that it was feminists who came up with all these ideas.
To prop up women's rights. That's ultimately what it's about. It's about women completing high school and going to college. That's what it is. You know, the only reason, and let me.
Should they not be allowed to do that? Like, what do you? So now we circled around to women shouldn't even get educated, bro.
Let me tell you this.
He wants these bitches to be barefoot and pregnant all the time.
I'm not in favor of like everybody go have sex with 14-year-olds. I'm not saying that.
Why would you say this at all then? Why would you say it at all? Like, what other conclusion would you come to, right? Obviously, you want people to be able to have sex with 14-year-olds. There's no other reason why you would have this opinion.
I'm saying that the only reason that people are so horrified when people talk about like 16 and 17 not really being immoral, it's because we have a culture of casual sex and pornography and hookups.
Brother, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, what do you mean? First off, there's this idea that like, now I'm not going to pretend like, hookup culture and all that shit. That's not like it being a regular thing is a new phenomenon, but people have been having casual sex for fucking like centuries. Like forever, especially the upper class niggas used to fuck. Like it was very normal for nobles centuries ago to have tons of mistresses, for noble ladies to just like have, just have children. They would just get pregnant while their husbands were off at war on campaign somewhere, right? Like fucking Napoleon Bonaparte, emperor, while he was emperor of France, right? While he was consul of France, while he was the most powerful man in Europe, his bitch was still cheating on him and fucking dudes behind his back, right? So this isn't some new thing that was created by hippies in the 60s and 70s. So for this to be the reason, like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense for him to be coming to the conclusions he's coming to.
Why is it considered completely depraved at age 17 and a half versus 18? Because we hate the idea of young, vulnerable girls being preyed upon by strange men, by pimps, by pornographers. That's why it is abhorrent. Because there is...
Oh yeah, Eat Rick. This has like French, like what he's saying. Nick is basically, you would think he was reading some fucking 20th century French philosopher about the age of consent, because there's this bad thing. There's this thing about French philosophers like over the past century or so where they've been really bad on just abolishing the age of consent for very obvious reasons. They try and fucking pseudo-intellectual it up why we need to do that. Why? Because the age of consent in France is already like, what, 14? But they want it gone. How low do you niggas need for it to be?
There's something true about that. If you are grooming a child into sex, if you are, or I should say a teenager, if you're grooming a teenager into sex, if you're grooming a teenager into prostitution, pornography, that is especially wicked. Because teenage girls are vulnerable. Teenage girls arguably cannot make those decisions.
If you recognize that, why would you then say that like 14-year-old isn't like pedophilia? If you understand that 14-year-old girls are especially vulnerable because like they aren't completely developed mentally, why would you then say, well, it's not actually? Then you should understand then. Like he's contradicting himself. Penrose Love, thanks you for the $5. Nick's only saying this because he can't get any because women can't stand to be around his bum ass, so he wants to normalize his behavior. Oh no, Penrose, Nick is gay, right? So he's saying this. I could definitely understand. I could definitely see Nick wanting to like get it all with some underage boys or some shit like that. I could definitely see that. But no, it's like one thing about Nick's takes, because he's had several takes like this. This isn't new. See, a lot of people, I was shocked that he went this way where he's saying Jeffrey Epstein wasn't really a pedophile. That did shock me. But him trying to defend age of consent being lowered or abolished, that's kind of a take he's had for a very long time. It's one of the most consistent. We call him flip-flop Fuentes. Age of consent being lowered or abolished is one of his most consistent takes ever. It's one of the few issues he never flip-flops on ever, right? So this has been one of the things he's been very, consistent on. So I wasn't surprised when I heard it. I'm like, yeah, of course. But I didn't expect it to come out like this, but I was like, yeah, of course.
That is only because we live in a society where that kind of predation is happening. And that's where it starts to make sense when women say a 19-year-old is a child.
See, this is why a lot of people just do not know. And this is why it's important. This is why if you go on Twitter and you go to my Twitter profile, you're going to see the Fuentes documentary. It's still the video I have pinned to my Twitter profile because I want people to see it. Every time I get a banger, I want people to go to my Twitter profile and I want them to see, hey, is this a documentary? Why is it 3 hours? And I want them to watch the whole thing because a lot of people still don't know. A lot of people don't know that Nick has had takes like this. They don't know that this isn't new. They don't Nick hasn't been perverted. Nick hasn't been corrupted. There are no handlers telling him to do it. Nick did not have handlers in fucking 2018, and he was already saying shit like this back then, bro. He's just like this. He's just sick, bro. He's a sick ass nigga. He's a fucking Frankenstein petri dish abomination. Talby, thank you for the $5. Nick getting ahead of his upcoming leaked DMs with fans of a certain age. I don't doubt that's gonna happen. Hannah DM, thank you for the $5. A lot of medieval Protestants historically married in their 20s. Nick wouldn't understand being a brown ethnic.
Well,
this really is Nick's most spiritually third worlder opinion, right? Because in a lot of developing countries, the age of consent is 14 and 15, and it is legal for adults to sleep with women of very young ages there. It's not the case in America though, Nick. Sorry.
No, a 19-year-old
Sorry, buddy.
isn't a child. However, a 19-year-old teenage girl might be just as susceptible to grooming as a 17-year-old. That's why it seems arbitrary. A 19-year-old teenage girl, an 18-year-old teenage girl might be just as susceptible to manipulation and grooming as a 17 or 16-year-old girl by a man who only wants sex from her without marrying her, by a man that wants to pimp her out, that wants, whatever, all these things that are happening in our society. So
we should just lower the age of consent because some bitches are dumb? Is that what you're saying, Nick? There's just some dumb women who, no matter how old they get, they'll still be easily manipulated, even when they're 25, 26, 27. So we might as well just lower it to 14 because they're mentally about that age anyway, and they're just as easy to manipulate. And it's like, no, Nick, that's a very, very, very poor argument, right? Because, hold on. Moloch 92, thanks for the $20. Even in places that didn't have age of consent laws historically, that was usually because the social expectation was the girl's family/community took care of the problem, if you get what I mean. Exactly. There are so many stories. There are so many stories of back in the country where my family comes from. Back in country of the Deep South, where you would just have dudes who would you have some guy who tried to see Mr. Wilson's daughter. He would try and sneak over Mr. Wilson's house and try and see her daughter when he wasn't supposed to, and he told he wasn't wanted, and he would end up getting shot or chased away with a shotgun, right? Or Mr. Wilson and his sons and his brother, they would get in a pickup truck and they would go and they would see Buddy. And they try and, they give him the business for coming where he wasn't wanted. And there were stories like that. Basically just vigilante justice to, make sure that you understood what the social norms were around here and you didn't defy them or defile Mr. Wilson's daughter when you were told not to, when you were warned before. Sofa Ninja, thanks for the $5. Turkey Tom video win. It's time to take your rightful place as the premier KF reporter and content creator. Come on, guys. Come on.
What are we really talking about? What we're talking about
I'm not about to just try and nuke. I'm not out to try and content nuke Turkey Tom just to take his place. Come on, guys.
Women being taken advantage of. And we're saying that it is
if the story develops in a certain type of way where it's just like, I can't resist, then yeah, sure. But I'm not yet.
Especially heinous when a younger, more vulnerable girl is taken advantage of. Consent is not, I don't think that's really a real thing. I think that's like a feminist construct. And these like legal limits, I think that's very arbitrary. What we're talking about is younger girls that are sexually mature being taken advantage of. But take that up with a society that doesn't value marriage. Here's the difference. In the old days, girls would get married at 16. And I think far fewer people would object to that. Some people still might. Girls who get married at 15, 16, 17. But you recognize that that's different. If they're in a marriage where they're being provided for, they're going to have kids.
Nick, where's your wife? Like, here, you can't talk like this, and you can't talk like some fucking trad Catholic LARPer, and you're pushing your 30s, bro, and you still don't have a wife. Where is your wife, buddy? Where's your wife? Where are your 3 kids? Where is your fucking house that you're raising them all in? Like, several of your peers have already accomplished all of this. Several of them have already gotten a wife, and they've gotten their trad wife and their trad home and their trad children, but not you. But you're over here talking about 16-year-olds getting married. Look, brother, you're like over 10 years removed from 16, and I have yet to see you with a woman who you were planning on procreating with. So get to it, or you need to kill this LARP, brother. I'm tired of hearing this shit from you, bro. Germ70, thank you for the $5. Nick loves being so Catholic that he's justifying the age-old tradition between a boy and his priest. Nothing else is a grift.
They're going to become a mother. They're going to build a life with a man who's going to love them. That's different, actually, than the society we have today. And the only reason you need age of consent is because we have a society that's built on the pill. We have a society that's built on birth control. We have a society...
What? Hold on, let me see where he's going with this.
Society that's built on abortion, pornography increasingly, all these other things. And so now when we think of like sex and women, we think, oh my gosh, make the age of consent 21. Because why would we want an 18-year-old girl to have her 18th birthday and then get on OnlyFans? It's insane. Why would we want a girl to turn 18 and be able...
He's retroactively applying a lot of things in ways that don't... This is so anachronistic. The way he's like trying to point this out, the way he's trying to construct this. And it's like, no, Nick, we do not have law of consent. We do not have age of consent laws because the fucking birth control pills got created or because abortion clinics exist. Those are not, there's no correlation there. He's trying to correlate all these things that he hates with like the age of consent to try and make the age of consent what it is, right? What it is he wants the age of consent to either be lowered or for it to be abolished. And he's working his way from there. So he's like retroactively trying to connect all these other things he doesn't like to the age of consent in order for like his argument for why it shouldn't be a thing to be stronger. But it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. Mr. Swagtastic, thank you for the $5. I saw an edit of Nick as Volpes from New Vegas in a group of closeted slaver rapists who only want their group to be superior fit so well. Rick in Maryland, thank you for $5. America first, except America age of consent laws.
To become an escort or sleep with any and every guy in college. It's gross. But that's only because we hate the idea of women being taken advantage of. But you know what? Women can be taken advantage of at any age because women are emotional, trusting.
I mean, no. No, we do not have... The birth control pill does not exist because we hate the idea of women being, like, taken advantage of. It exists because some doctor created it. Because, I mean, you could blame... This is one of those things that if you really hate birth control, you really could blame capitalism. Because capitalism is the reason why the birth control pill exists, because you can make money off of it. Because a lot of young women will pay a pretty penny in order to just have a baby be gone pill in their purse or whatever. I actually don't like this. Hey, I wanted to fuck this nigga, but he kind of ugly, and I don't really want to raise a ugly family with this guy pill. They'll pay some money for that, so you can blame capitalism. But blaming it on the age of consent laws is just preposterous. Red Heracross, thanks for the $5. This sounds like some schizo 4chan and desperately trying to justify his attraction to teenagers. This literally feels like Nick is reading one of those pedo pastas from 8chan or some shit like that. Me Man 420, thanks for the $5. How people can consider this guy a genuine threat to anyone is still amazing to me. Well, anyone over 18.
More so than men, women are easier to manipulate, and younger women easier than more mature women. And that's really the issue. So don't take it up with, people love to say pedophilia. That's really the wrong lens. No, actually, that's not pedophilia. And I think that there is such a hysteria about that and obsession with that on the right. And I think, like everything else, it defines.
He hates the fact that the right is just moral fagging about, about pedophilia being bad. He hates that. Why are they talking so much about how pedophilia is wrong? Why are they always calling Jeffrey Epstein a pedophile? Why do they care so much? I don't get. He hates it. He hates the fact that he can't push the Overton window on how age of consent is actually bad. He hates it.
Finds down what a heinous crime pedophilia really is and what a perversion it really is. And I'm not like raising a flag for child marriage or something, but
aren't you? Where else could you take this, right? Like, let's take everything you're saying right here, Nick, and let's like take it to its logical conclusion. Where else could this go besides two places? Grown men sleeping with children, just sleeping with people who are 14 years old or younger. Because let's be honest, if you want to go as low as 14, you want to go even lower than that, right? Like there's nobody who's ever really raised an argument for lowering the age of consent who didn't want to like partake in like younger flesh. Or the other alternative is child marriage. So it's one of the two. Or really it's both. Let's be honest, it's both. He wants both.
I'm saying let's just get our history straight. And
you won't even understand. He fundamentally does not know the history of any of this shit that he's talking about. Germ70, thanks for the $2. Are we getting Destiny Fuentes crossover 2.0? I don't know, maybe. I remember that clip. I should have had it pulled up where Destiny was joking, quote unquote joking, about how kids are hot. They're hotter. And Nick was like based. They were both joking about that, quote unquote. Talby, thank you for another $5. Women are easier to manipulate when his audience is made up of men. Make it make sense. Exactly. All of Nick Fuentes' fans are some of the most gullible motherfuckers on earth, right? Some of the dumbest. Age of consent should be raised because look at these dumb motherfuckers who follow Nick Fuentes and they're 18, 19, 20, 21. Moloch, thank you for the $5. Nick is just a gay guy's idea of what a chauvinistic straight man sounds like. Correct. Remember that Nick gets all these talking points from red pill dudes. He gets all of these talking points from red pillars and all these other guys, right?
Sexual morality. Let's
4chan and Pole. That's where he gets all these talking points from.
Start to understand some of these sexual issues. Why do you think we are such a sexually dysfunctional society? It's because men and women become sexually mature and active years before they're even supposed to consider getting married. You're setting them up for failure.
So wait. I'm sorry. Repeat that, because it doesn't really make sense with what you've been saying earlier.
Such a sexually dysfunctional society. It's because men and women become sexually mature and active years before they're even supposed to consider getting married. You're setting them up for failure.
Wait, okay. So you're saying, okay. So if women are like sexually developed enough for, sex and marriage or whatever when they're 14, how can they also be like having sex like, what do you mean? Like how, if they're having sex when they're in like their early teens, right? Or before they're 18, how is it then they're also developed enough with their it doesn't make any sense, Nick.
Men and women are able to have sex, and by that I mean reproduce, want to have sex far earlier, years earlier. And we're telling them it's not even lawful to do that for years, and don't even consider doing it licitly until way after that. What's the average or median age couples get married in the United States? It's like 28.
People have sex all the time when they're in their fucking teen. What are you talking about? Fucking 16, 15, fucking 14-year-olds. I remember fucking people having sex in middle school and shit. I remember that.
Does that make any fucking sense?
I remember girls who got pregnant by dudes in like fucking a year or two, both older and younger than them, when it was like freshman year of high school and shit like that.
So if a man and a woman reach the age of sexual...
I don't know, maybe he's just saying this because he has never like, I don't know, he wasn't having sex back then, so he just assumes this is the same story for everybody else.
Maturity in their teens, we're telling them you have to wait 10 years? And what, they're going to be...
So he's doing the if there's grass on the field, play ball argument, but he's also saying that people aren't having sex early enough and that they should, but they also shouldn't. Like he's all over the place.
What are they gonna
His logic isn't consistent within like the first 10 minutes of this rant.
10 years? When are women most fertile? It's not at 28, I'll tell you that much. And we wonder why we have a fertility.
Is it not? I'm pretty sure like 28. Like, what do you think that like? You think that the womb starts to wither as soon as a woman turns 25, nigga?
Crisis?
See, this dude really has been. This is what happens when like everything you know about relationships just fucking come. I can't even like say, oh, it's because like, he's gay. Because gay niggas have like better understanding about relationship dynamics and women than Nick Fuentes does, right? It's like, what do you mean? That a woman isn't in her prime at 28. She's still in her 20s. What do you mean? What, you think her prime is 13? This is what dudes jokingly say on like fucking 8chan or, you know, when 8chan existed. 8chan, 4chan, places like that. They say like a woman is, what they say? A woman hits the wall at like 21 or some crazy shit like that. He's using that logic unironically.
We wonder why we have
like imagine thinking that a woman isn't in like her fertile prime still while she's 28. Like, dude. Yes, like women are like they're like milk. They're like milk. If you put milk in a glass and you just leave it out for like a day, it's bad. That's how Nick thinks that like female fertility works. Your buddy Brady, thank you. Thank you for $5. Don't want to be that guy, but isn't Nick's argument very America's #1 ally? Also, don't forget Sam Hyde's E-Daddy is Nick Fuentes and kisses the ground he walks on. Redworm13, thank you for the $2. Nick was too busy giving blowies in the chess club.
Have all kinds of other sexual dysfunction, and that is the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to talk about. That is second wave feminism all day long. That is all this bodily autonomy, you know, all of that is basically first and second wave feminism. Because if you go to the old world, if you go to Europe, it ain't like that. And if you go to the Catholic Church, it's not like that. If you go to the history in Europe and basically every other society, it isn't like that.
Okay, what about now, Nick? Like, what do you mean?
World, if you go to Europe, it ain't like that. So all of that is basically first and second wave feminism. Because if you go to the old world, if you go to Europe, it ain't like that.
Yes, it is. If you go to, what do you mean, bro? What are you talking about?
The Catholic Church is not like that. If you go to the history in Europe and basically...
You go to the Catholic Church, you really think that an American who goes to the fucking Vatican and he fucks a 14-year-old when he's like 32 isn't gonna get in some trouble, bro?
Every other society, it isn't like that.
The Pope is American, dude. The Pope is from the same city as you. He grew up with the same laws that you grew up in. You don't think he has the same sensibilities that you're trying to like tear down right now about the age of consent, bro? Kaiser Konagretzer, thank you for $5. Shocker, dude who denies / minimizes the most well-documented genocide ever doesn't actually understand history but beyond 4chan copy pastas and map games. I don't even think he plays map games. I don't think this nigga has ever played a fucking Paradox game before.
Say, well, you just really want a child bride. I really don't. Okay.
Europa Universalis is way too complicated. Even the newer simplified baby ones are too complicated for Nick Fuentes. I like that face. I like this this super serial face of Nick's right here. Yeah, I'm going to save this. I'm going to use this as a thumbnail in a future video or something.
You know, when I get married, it's not going to be to a 15-year-old. It'll probably be to somebody that's in their 20s, honestly. You know, that being said, I am a tireless defender of the truth. And, you know, a lot of people don't like this. It's an unpopular...
What? Hey, now that's probably the craziest thing he said here. This whole rant about pedophilia, that's actually the craziest thing he said.
You know, that being said, I am a tireless defender of the truth.
That Nick, you are one of the greatest liars I have ever fucking known. Like, you lie constantly about, well, not everything, but most, like a good chunk of things. You lie about your history. The way that America First Media, the way that Nick ended up being a solo political internet talk show host was his old business partner, James Alsup, right? He ended up burning that bridge with him because James didn't like answer his DMs quick enough when James was like giving him money so he could buy him a PC because Nick was too much of a broke boy back then to be able to afford to buy his own PC to build or have somebody else build for him. And then he snaked him, and he went and he lied about it. He went and he lied about James Alsup snaking him when he actually snaked James first. And that was like the first major lie that started off Nick's entire career. You know, if you ask Cassie Dillon, he lied on her too. You know, he lies and says that the reason why he stopped working for the Daily Wire or whatever the fuck was because of he said too much shit about Israel. According to Cassie Dillon, it was like, no, he's just an asshole and he couldn't work with anybody. Nobody wanted to work with him. And I actually want to believe her. I want to believe Cassie because that's probably the most consistent thing about Nick Fuentes is that he's just a lying piece of shit who nobody can work with, who nobody can be friends with. Even his current friends, right? Even Sneeko. Sneeko is like, Sneeko and Nick have been so on again, off again, because Nick is such a little snake, and he always ends up fighting with somebody over something. It doesn't matter.
You know, a lot of people don't like this. It's
fucking Tucker Carlson gave this little nigga a platform, and this ungrateful little bitch, right? He didn't appreciate any of it. He was calling Tucker a creep. He was talking shit on Tucker just because he was a little skeptical of one of his takes or whatever. Right? Because that's how he is, bro.
It's an unpopular,
tireless defender of the truth, my ass.
But it is the truth. So, and that is a feminist issue. So, and people don't even realize they're peddling feminism when they say this. That's a literal child. Oh my God.
Man, you making feminism sound real fucking good, bro. Like if Nick Fuentes was around back in the day, like back in the early aughts or early tens and shit, I don't think Sargon would have ever had a career because Sargon couldn't have made a career going after feminists when they were battling people like Nick Fuentes who wanted to lower the age of consent.
It's like, no, it's actually...
I would have been like, damn, these feminists are actually making some good fucking points.
Not a literal child at all. You can say that they're vulnerable. You could say that they should be protected, and I would agree with you. You could say it's particularly heinous that a teenage girl is trafficked and groomed. Absolutely. It is downright evil, millstone and everything. I'm in absolute agreement with you.
Exactly. He brings up the millstone. He brings up the millstone quote from Jesus. You know, those who harm the little ones should have a millstone thrown or tied around their necks and just be cast away, right? This was one of the only 3 times. Jesus had like 3 crash outs. One was about pedophiles. One was about those dudes, those money lenders, just desecrating a temple. And the other one was because of that fig tree, which, you know, that was very understandable because, you know, a nigga gets hungry from time to time. Here he is. He's making light of one of Jesus's 3 great crash outs, which are also the most righteous crash outs. Jesus never had a crash out that wasn't 100% righteous and valid.
It is particularly heinous because they're more corruptible. I agree with you. You could say, well, it's still illegal, and I agree with you there too. But when people say it's pedophilia, it's a child, as if there's no distinction, well, that just fucking isn't true at all.
Has Nick literally never seen a 14-year-old? If you see a 14-year-old, right? If you have like a little sister or a niece or somebody like that, a little cousin who's like 13, 14, and you look at him, you're like, you would think any adult male who's attracted to this, you need to set that nigga on fire. How the fuck can you be attracted to a 13, 14-year-old? Like, how you be attracted to a middle schooler, dude? He's talking about middle schoolers, saying they aren't children, dude.
And it's creating hysteria. And
maybe it's because he's so small. He's so small and tiny, right? That you shave his beard, he could probably blend into like a middle school class. So maybe that's why he thinks it. It's like, well, they can't be children. They're the same size as me. Germ, thank you for the $5. Nick fell apart after his boyfriend Jaden got a girl and got tired of Nick acting like a jilted ex-lover. Jaden should have took one for all of us.
You know what? I also think it's
like, what are you trying to say there, Jeremy? Like, what do you mean by Jaden should have took one for all of us? What do you mean?
hurting society in general. I feel like,
because there are two interpretations I have of, you know, that sentence, and I'm not sure which one you're going with.
and I'll just say as a guy, you feel like society is becoming.
Yeah, Nick, actually, you know, you're right. Suzuka Kaina, you're right. Nick does look like a pooner. He does look like a trans man. He does. Even with, like, he has a little stubble beard, and he's short, and he's weak, and he has the squeaky voice and shit. He actually does look like oh, I didn't even realize that. You know, that could explain so much. Maybe Nick has been trans this whole time. Oh my God. Bro, that would actually explain so much. This whole time, Nick has been like a trans man. That would actually...
paranoid because of this obsession with pedophilia. How can you really have a family-based society if every guy is terrified of being called a pedophile or a rapist? And that's kind of the society that we live in. Don't you think? I mean, and I don't think I'm the first one to say this either, but
No, I think you are. I can't really think of anybody else who, like, was given takes like this for as long and as extensive as you have. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who in, like, quieter company, not on, like, their own platform, that gets, according to Groypers, Nick gets like 40K concurrent viewers. These goofy, dumb motherfuckers actually think that Rumble numbers are real. These are the type of people who think that the quartering actually gets a bazillion views every month. It's like those Rumble numbers are like figments of your imagination. They aren't even estimates. They're literally just making shit up. They aren't real. Nick doesn't get that many viewers. But if he was, why would you give a take like this on a platform that big, bro? Like, what the fuck? Fly for Shy, thank you for the 1738.
really cannot have a society that has any kind of communal fabric or anything like that if every man lives in a constant state of terror that they will be.
Yes, Rumble is all bots. Well, it's like 80% bots. I want to say Rumble is 80 to maybe 90% bots and 20 to 10% real people.
Accused of being a rapist, of being a pedophile. You know?
Let me put it this way. Whenever you're on Rumble, take whatever views you see on that site and divide it by 10 to 15. And you got like an approximate number of what the real number is.
How can you have a society where, like, you know, there's many generations of people all living among each other all over the place? You can't even talk about these issues. People are terrified. People are terrified to even say it. They dare not say it out loud. People are terrified because of, you know, this hysterical stuff that goes on. And then people wonder why we're such an anti-life society. It's because we are puritanical about this kind of stuff.
This type of stuff. About the age of consent, about trying to fuck a 14-year-old, being pedophilia, making you a pedophile. That's the thing. That's the thing that makes us such an anti-life society. That's the thing. Like, why is he trying to present this as, I don't know, man. Maybe he should ask his dad. Maybe he should talk to his father. He should go and talk to his Mexican dad about, hey, Dad, how would you feel? Do you think that if somebody would have tried to, if somebody who was like 20, 25 tried to date my sister when she was 14, would you think that dude was a pedophile? Would you think that, Dad? And I think he would be very surprised at the answer that his father would give him.
Puritanical and
I think the average father would be like, no. Would be like, you know, I don't want anybody who's like above age themselves talking to my 14-year-old daughter.
In a feminist way about this stuff. And now we have a society where when and where is sex supposed to occur? I guess it's supposed to happen after college or something.
Quiet Rider, thanks for the $2. What did gay Charlie Kirk do now? Don't do that to Charlie. Don't do that to Charlie, Quiet Rider. He deserves better than being compared to Nick, even like jokingly. But no, he said that Jeffrey Epstein isn't actually a pedophile. That's where we're at. That's where we're at with Nick in the first month of 2026. We're not even 20 days into 2026, and he already gave like top 3 hot take of the year. I'd be surprised if any other E-celeb comes out with some shit that's hotter than this. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't a pedophile for fucking 14-year-olds, which isn't even like, I'm not going to say it's not true. I'm going to say his victims were only as young as 14 isn't true. In truth, they went as low as 12 or 13. Allegedly, they went as low as 11, right? But he definitely had some preteen victims.
When everybody's ready to settle down, after women have gone to high school and gone to college, and they're all having sex anyway and hooking up, and women are being
Yeah, I did call it. Somebody said it earlier. Like I just said that it always happens in the holiday seasons. I told you guys. I noticed the pattern when I was making the documentary. November, December through January. That's when the worst shit, that's when things get catabolic for Nick. I don't know what it is about those 3 months in a row. Maybe it's just something like the transition between years just makes, I don't know, it makes the atmosphere thinner and things get a little bit more unstable and shit. But it's something I noticed.
You know, it's totally insane. So no, we have to deconstruct all of feminism, not just, oh, well, you're a blue-haired raging feminist. Okay, you're a woman with a talk show screeching about.
Look, bro, I'm be honest, I've never been like the biggest feminist guy, but if feminism, according to Nick, if feminism is what's keeping grown men from fucking 14-year-olds, I guess I'm a feminist now. I guess I'm like a feminist performative male. I guess I'm a male feminist. I'm a leftist now. I got no other choice because according to Nick, feminists are what's keeping, they are the vanguard. They're the vanguards who are keeping little girls safe from predators. I guess we got no choice. We got to put on our fucking feminist shirts.
Pedophilia and misogyny and all, like, how are you literally any different? But this is.
Congratulations, Nick Fuentes. You just made like a generation of male feminists. We got no other choice. How else are we going to save these little girls?
Why Western civilization is dying. Every decadent civilization that gives itself over to feminist women dies. And I think it dies because it becomes impossible to fight against.
I love how he like associates decadence with feminism, but he doesn't associate decadence with men like being complete fucking degenerates and having sex with children. Wouldn't Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell be better signs of like the sick decadence in America than some fucking feminists
and
who say you shouldn't fuck minors?
Reason nobody wants to fight against it, because if you're a man and you go against the matriarchy, the gynocracy, you are ostracized, and nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to upset their wife, girlfriend, daughter, prospective partner. No.
Of course I wouldn't. Of course I wouldn't want to get upset any of the female women who I've dated, who I'm friends with. Female women. Fuck? Is it male women? Okay. Any of the women in my family who I've dated, who I'm friends with, by saying that, hey, I feel like we should abolish the age of consent. I feel like that's some feminist bullshit and it's holding society back. Of course, I wouldn't share that opinion with any of the men that I know, let alone any of the women.
Nobody wants to offend their friend's wife, because women are the gatekeepers of society. And so then nobody wants to say it because they don't want to be that guy. But, I'm already that guy. So I'll say it. So yeah, I mean, look, Epstein.
Russ Cole, thank you for the $5. I blame Stranger Things for normalizing adults trying to befriend teens in hentai. I agreed to watch season 4 plus 5 with my GF. It's tentacle porn. Straight trash. Yes. Stranger Things, that did not pan out well. And the directors for Stranger Things, they're so bitch too. Like they were complaining about how Netflix was on their ass for them to finish the show. Oh my God, guys. Netflix, they were like fucking slave drivers. They told us that we need to finish the show after 3 years. We were putting out like an episode of television every 3 months. And they were forcing us to work, guys. It's like, okay. Like people who worked in actual television and not in streaming, like people who had to work for a major television service and not for Netflix, they would have had to put out like a 30 to 40 minute episode every week. And here these fucking Stranger Things producers over here crying that they have to put out, literally, it was the equivalent of one episode of television every 3 months for the better part of a decade. Just lazy bastards, bro. And of course the show ended up like trash. It wasn't good after the second season anyway. Hey, better. Thank you for the $1.99. Turkey Tom Fuentes quartering. January is crazy. Yes, it is.
Baller ass nigga. And look, yeah, okay, criminal.
Oh, you're a what? Excuse me?
Already that guy. So I'll say it. So yeah, I mean, look, Epstein, baller ass nigga.
It's like, here's the thing. He's trying to play it off now as a joke because he's gone on for 13 minutes and it's starting to set in for him what this rant sounds like to the normies. He's realizing that this isn't going to go viral in a way that he wants it to, which he was right. This did not go viral. This is like the worst Fuentes clip that could have possibly gone viral in broken containment. This is the fucking your body, our choice clip all over again. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody visits Nick's house over this shit. But what he's trying to do now is he's trying to inject some humor, inject some sarcasm to make it seem like, oh, see, Nick wasn't really serious. That was a joke rant. No, Nick, you were 100% serial in the past 13 minutes when you were fucking raging about feminism stopping us from fucking 14-year-old girls.
And look, yeah, okay, criminal. But when people say, oh, he's this pedophile, satanic, Candace Owens put out this tweet. She said he was given triplets. That is a fabrication. That was made up by Virginia Giuffre, a serial fabulist who makes up a ton of shit, not a reliable person at all. It just isn't true. But you're a fucking dumbass who believes everything you hear on the internet. No, Virginia Giuffre, not everything she said is true.
What is wrong with this?
What was proven in court is that the victims were between the ages of 14 and 17. Yeah, that is evil. I mean,
the victims were between, like, they went as low as like 12, Nick. What do you mean? Between the ages of 14 and 17.
Don't get me wrong. It's absolutely evil grooming vulnerable girls from broken homes who are younger than they should be into prostitution. It's like one of the most evil things. I never for a second defended it. I didn't say it wasn't evil or criminal. I said, but it's not ritualistic, pedophilic, satanic abuse.
Is it not satanic to, like, fucking defile a little girl? Like, what do you mean? Like, just cause I didn't light some fucking goat demon candles before I did the molestation doesn't make it not evil.
It's a different category. And the reason is
it really? Like, how much different of a category is there between, like, molesting a 14-year-old and molesting a 10-year-old? Really? How much worse? How much worse is the 10-year-old really? Surely, I mean, you're getting the wood chipper either way, so does it really matter?
You even make the distinction is because one has to do with, like, magic. One is like, oh, they're sacrificing infants to Baal to drink their blood for adrenochrome.
No, buddy. That is not the reason. I think you're very confused. You're very confused, Nick, about why people have such a problem with Jeffrey Epstein and all these other elites who are like fucking kids. I think you don't understand the reason why people think that's sick. It's not because of, like, the fucking ritual or like, he's getting very hung up on the satanic shit. They could literally be praising Jesus while doing this shit and they would be just as evil. Like, it has nothing to do with that. Nobody cares about the aesthetics of a child molester. Nobody cares about
just that sick. Another is like, why are they looking for underage girls? For blackmail, obviously. Why?
And because they're into it.
Why are they scouting out the youngest girls? Because it's illegal.
Because they're into it. What, you think that Jeffrey Epstein was setting these dudes up with, like, youngish girls that they didn't know was set? Jeffrey Epstein had clients who literally asked him to give the guy proof that he was going to be able to have sex with a girl underage. Like, literally, explicitly, he had dudes who would ask him shit like that. They knew, and this is why they sought them out. This wasn't all some fucking honey trap or some blackmailing ring or something. This was evil. I mean, obviously, blackmail is a part of it. That was part of it. But at the same, this is also just evil rich people doing evil rich people shit, dude.
because it's barely illegal. Why does that matter? So that they pass, so that you can trick people, so that you can blackmail them. That is the purpose. So people say, you're defending it. I'm not defending it. It's still evil. It's still heinous. For all the
I mean, you're sanitizing it by saying it wasn't pedophilia just because they were only 14. That's objectively wrong because they were younger than that. But just saying because they're 14 it's not pedophilia is so arbitrary.
You think, but the reason you draw a distinction is because
it's so arbitrary to draw this line between 14 and anything below it. Like, how is that any less arbitrary than you're saying the line is between 17 and 18?
Kind of abuse that was occurring is bound up with the purpose of it. Why were they selected from that cohort? Why were there none younger than 14? Why was that?
There were some younger than 14. He doesn't even know. He got all this angry about this shit. He doesn't even know about it.
I'm in that age bracket because it was a blackmail ring. If you can find girls that are on the cusp of being legal, you can get someone on.
And he doesn't even understand that, yes, there was a lot of blackmail involved and that was motivating these actions, but also it was just sick motherfuckers doing sick shit. Because if it was just a blackmail ring, then why was Jeffrey Epstein doing it? Why was he incriminating himself too? What a dumbass, dude.
To have sex with them, record it, and then blackmail them, because that's what.
This is what happens when you hang around a bunch of troglodytes who tell you you're the smartest dude in the world. You end up like Nick Fuentes, just being objectively wrong for like almost 20 minutes straight.
What Epstein was, and that's the point, which I said yesterday and I said the night before. Not to get it twisted and get hysterical and sensational. The claims about Epstein just get crazier and crazier. He was given triplets to rape for the devil and blah, blah. And
Candace Owens being a crazy schizo bitch like she always is does not discredit all the other shit we have evidence for when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, brother.
And it's...
You are so out of your depth here, Nick. It's crazy.
Ritualistic satanic abuse. And no, one person claimed that. She's a serial liar. She made tens of millions of dollars in settlements. None of that has been proven. What was proven in court, why Jeffrey Epstein was charged and convicted, based on interviews with hundreds of people, is that the age bracket was 14 to 17. They're filming everything because you're running a blackmail ring. And so it's important to understand what you're talking about. It's not to say that it isn't bad, evil, predatory. Obviously it is. Of course it is. No one would suggest otherwise. But women...
I don't know what else would you call this, bro?
Man, oh man, so touchy about that subject. And why do you think it is?
Because like what? I don't even know why I have to explain this so hard. It's like, why would I even have to explain why this is a touchy subject? Why people get so hysteric about this? He fundamentally, I don't know. This is one of those. It's the test tube baby in him, just like speaking ahead of it. It's like he's not human enough. He's not human enough to understand why ordinary humans don't, like, why they feel the way they feel about this subject, that you would have to have this explained to them. This is the type of shit that like Milo would complain about or Jaden would complain about when they were having a tar wrangle Nick Fuentes, where they would just be in DMs with him and they have to talk to him or explain some very basic concept that a non-subhuman would be able to just absorb and internalize in just a few minutes. And it would take days of just going back and forth with bro for him to finally get it, for it to finally click for him.
Because women are vulnerable, and so they're very...
Germ70, thank you for $5. Fuentes really just wants to be the victim. You can hear Fuentes screaming throughout Chicago, "It should have been me, not him. Why, Jeffrey? Why?" LG Panthers 1, thank you for $5. Nobody cares about the aesthetics of a child molester is a sick line. Thank you, man. GJ1, GJ1511, thank you for $2. Sorry, is he trying to talk down the Epstein thing? Well, no, he's saying that Epstein is evil, and obviously he did victimize them children, but they weren't technically children, so technically he's not a pedophile. That's his argument. And then he goes on some rant about how the age of consent is just a concept invented by feminists, and that feminists are the reason why we're anti-life, and that birth control and abortion and all that shit comes down to the age of consent and how we should follow the Catholic Church's canon law about how legal sex age should be 14 for women and 16 for men, and yada yada yada.
Sensitive.
He went all over the map
about any subject like that.
This is really just a crash out. This is a sober, because he's calm about it, right? Because he's not yelling or he's not just fucking getting mad at somebody. It doesn't seem like a crash out, but this is a crash out. And it's the worst type. It's the worst subject he could have possibly crashed out on.
And so as a result, they try to attack everything. Everything is rape and pedophilia. Okay, so how are young men supposed to get along in this day and age?
Oh my God. How are men supposed to get along? How are men supposed to get along in this world where men like Jeffrey Epstein are called pedophiles? How are men supposed to get along in this world when they can only sleep with women who are the age of 18 and older? How can we do it, bro? Like, I'm just looking in the mirror, just looking out a window like, damn, bro, I can't even fuck a girl who's 14. How am I even? I can't even. I might as well just give up in life, bro. It's over. The age of consent, it's too high. We can't do anything, dude. We might as well, the society is over. Civilization is dead. This is crazy. Only Nick Fuentes could have gone in this situation, could have gone in this direction. Like, I don't even understand all this over this super chat, by the way.
$20. I know it wasn't your main point, but feminists have completely dominated men with the word pedo. They took what was natural male sexuality for all human history and conflated it with child fucking to shame men away from it and artificially increase the sexual value of hags. How old was Mary again when God impregnated her?
Dude, brother, so true.
We went from there. We went from there all the way to this.
And so as a result, they try to attack. So how are young men supposed to get along in this day and age?
That's the conclusion we came to. GJ1511, thank you for another $5. He's a brain rot creature then. Shit like this is why I disconnected from online politics. It makes you sound unhinged and crazy like this. Well, Nick doesn't just sound unhinged, he is unhinged. There's something wrong with him. He's missing a part of his soul, if he even has one.
You know, it's crazy.
It is crazy, Nick.
Because the amount...
These last 17 minutes have been wild.
Of hysteria about abuse. Think about how abuse has been redefined. If a guy is shitty to his wife, he's an emotional...
This kind of implies he thinks Mary had actual penetrative sex with God. Exactly. It's like, that's why I don't understand when God got Mary pregnant. Look, bro, like, God didn't come down there with a fucking honey pack, some fucking, you know... He didn't come down there fucking playing some R&B and shit, and then he got busy while Joseph was out doing whatever the fuck he was supposed to be doing. You just took Mary back to the bedroom. That's not what happened, Nick. It was the Immaculate Conception for a reason.
Abuser.
It was divine.
She leaves.
Like the creator, the ultimate power in the universe just sparked the divine entity in Mary's womb. That's how she got pregnant. Wasn't he fucking like took her to Pound Town or whatever?
If a guy has sex with a woman and she doesn't want it 10 years later, it's rape. I have seen it recently. If like a 21-year-old guy is in a relationship with a 17-year-old girl, he's a pedophile. It doesn't matter. That's lower than the age of consent. What? And everything is like this, and it's always hysterical, and no one can argue the other side because then you're a creep. I don't give a shit. Call me a creep. I don't care. I only defend I only tell the truth, women. I only tell the truth, feminists.
This is the show that groypers are always telling you that you need to watch. Like, whenever you say anything, whenever you shit on one of Nick's points, groypers are like, you don't even watch the show. If you watch the show, if you watch Nick's show, you would be completely disproven, and you would be recruited into his cult. Just like I was, right? That's what they believe. And then you watch the show and you end up getting shit like this. So yeah, that's been making the rounds. has been making the rounds on the YouTubes and shit like that. And actually, hold on. Let me look up. Let me show you. Let me show you how mainstream this is starting to hit. Let me see. We're going to go over here now. No, not over there. I'm going to go over. There we go. So this is how mainstream this shit is starting to get, right? So you got like fucking hip hop drama tubers. Just like this guy is basically, this dude is the Poetic Flacco. For people who don't know, Poetic Flacco, excuse me. His job is basically to be a nut gobbler for Drake. That's what his job is to be. He's basically a low rent, a discount DJ academics. And he's a drama tuber. He's a drama tuber, but for hip hop and pop culture. Basically the hip hop and pop culture equivalent of the Quartering or Review Tech USA, what this dude is. And he is making videos talking shit about Nick Fuentes.
The white supremacists and racists are finally turning on Nick Fuentes, and you won't believe what their final straw was. Lying on black people and saying the N-word is no longer getting Nick Fuentes the attention he wants. Him being an Adolf superfan is no longer getting him the attention he wants. So Nick Fuentes has upped the race bait. He's now an Epstein apologist. Before the video even...
Okay, so we aren't going to watch this nigga show, but that's the level we're at now. Now we got these Poetic Flaccos with his 300,000 sub channel. Now they're talking about this too. That's how far this thing is making in the rounds and shit. So it's going mainstream. It's going mainstream, and the tides are finally turning right in like the halfway point of the first month of 2026. It was a good run. He had a good run in that latter half of 2025, but just like all of Nick's previous generational runs, back to the dissident right sores, buddy. Maybe next time, maybe next run, you don't say that a well-known, one of the most well-documented pedophiles in history wasn't actually a pedophile. Maybe you don't make that take. Let's see. Zircon's son, thank you for the $2. When can we have feds deploy Neos for once? Oh, hopefully soon. GG, thank you for $2. Was he calling the red pill precious? Shit, I'm not actually sure. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually did try to say something like that. Donovich, I don't know what currency that is, but thank you. Glad to finally catch a stream. The Catboy Enjoyer sweeping for Epstein is wild, but not unexpected due to the Ollie Alexander stuff. By the way, Mikey, love the videos and the fact that you use Revolt music in them. I love that game. Oh yeah, the OST for Revolt was Kino. Peak. Germ, thank you for another $2. Nick went to see Minions 2 on day one at the cinema. See, that was a straightaway. Should have been an early giveaway that you would be giving takes like this. Kaiser Konagratzer, thank you for $2. This is the most unforced self-destruction since RTU. Nick Fuentes has done this quite a few times. Just destroys his own momentum for literally no reason. It doesn't make any sense. It's just built into him. It's just how he gets down. Smoggin Mog, thank you for $20. Dude, it was catastrophic when Sam Hyde thought it was beneficial to bring Nick Fuentes' dumbass on his show. Oh yeah, that was one of the biggest L's. So, I want to give Sam Hyde as many passes as I can, but when I saw him cozying up, when I saw he was one of those dudes who was trying to ride on Nick's coattails when he was getting boosted in the latter half of 2025, bro, I was so disappointed. Like, Sam, what the fuck are you doing, bro? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, I hope the Groiper curse, I hope the Fuentes curse doesn't hit him. Because the Fuentes curse has been hitting a couple people lately. And I'm going to visit it. When I get to my new update video about Fuentes this year, we're going to be covering a lot of this shit. And we're also going to be covering how many people were affected by the Fuentes curse. Like one of the people, Dasha. Dasha is the one who runs the Red Scare, for people who don't know. Dasha. Red Scare. She's the one who did the Red Scare, and she did an interview. She's the one who did an interview on her show with Nick, and she was fired. She was actress Dasha, fired by Gersh, dropped from movie amid backlash over podcast interview with far-right political commentator Nick Fuentes. They kicked that bitch out of Hollywood. So that's how the Fuentes curse works. I hope the best for Sam, but The One Gresh, thank you for $5. He's making men out to be beasts that can't contain themselves like feminists often do. He's not opposed to their views, really. He's an ally, if anything. Oh, yeah. Fuentes is one of those dudes who makes the rest of niggas like us look bad. And, of course, this isn't new, by the way. Nick's views on the age of consent, again, before we get off this subject and move on to the other thing I wanted to talk about on this show, Nick has been having takes like this for years. This take right here is from just last year, 2024, November of 2024. He said this.
And Chuck Berry. By the way, Vindicated. You know, it's funny. Like Chuck Berry has the song "Sweet 16," "Sweet Little 16." I love how back.
Yes, Nick actually did have this take way before Vouch did. Nick has been, again, age of consent needs to be lowered or gone has been Nick's most consistent take ever.
Back in the 50s, there were hit songs about marrying 16-year-olds. Elvis Presley, how old was his wife, right? What was she, like 14 or something? You know, they're just making songs like, hey, happy 16th birthday, want to get married? Yeah, but I'm the freak, right? I'm the creep. This stuff used to be normal back before everybody got gay and said, I want to date a girl that I have a lot in common with. No, I want to date a woman. Women actually get more attractive when they turn 29. Really?
Why is he always so hung up on late 20s? He's like 27, 28, 29. That's too late. Bro, that is still 20s. Like 20 isn't enough? It's got to be early 20s or teens? Really?
Yeah, I don't know about that one. So, that's how you know. I only tell the truth, lobbyists.
So, yeah, okay. And, of course, we also can't forget he also made this take. I didn't have this one in the drive, strangely, even though I'm pretty sure I used it in a doc.
No, bitch. I want to drink it straight from the tap. I want it raw. I don't want to wait a moment. Right when the milk is good, I want to start drinking the milk. Same thing goes with women. I don't want to turn 30 and find some 20-year-old, 29-year-old woman that I have something in common with, and it's like, hey, properly aged, like wine. Women
always the late 20s. Why does he hate? I wonder how he feels now that he's like 27. I wonder how he feels now that you're old. You're old by your own standards, Nick.
They don't age like wine, they age like milk. They don't age like wine. That's not how their hormones work. That's not how they work. Yeah, I gotta find my 16-year-old wife. Probably when I turn 30 or something. Because here's the thing, I don't want to be like, let's say I get married to the 18-year-old now. 6-year age difference. When I turn 40, she's going to be 34. Ew. What if I'm 30 and she's 16? 14-year age difference. When I'm 50, she'll be 36. When I'm 40, she'll be 26. Then now we're talking here.
Nick, the only way for you to avoid this scenario, which is completely, first off, this is completely fictitious. We are not supposed to take Nick seriously here. He's talking about me getting a 16-year-old bride. Nick does not want any pussy of any age at all, right? Like, this is all just him putting on. He's LARPing here. Nick wouldn't fuck a 16-year-old, 26-year-old, 36-year-old, any woman ever, right? But even in this scenario, the only way for you to have a wife who wouldn't grow old would be for you to Leonardo DiCaprio Max and just like dump your latest girlfriend as soon as she turns 25 and just pick up a new model up at the store who's 18 or 19, right? Just get one fresh out the box, fresh out of high school. Like, that's the only way.
Cooking with gas. Now you can see an alternative vision for how things could be. I want a 16-year-old that's untouched, pristine, untouched, uncorrupted, innocent. That's what we all want.
Dothex, you're right. Or have a robot wife. A lot of dudes who aren't gay and who unironically do think like Nick, they aren't going to end up getting, they aren't going to end up getting young wives. They're just going to end up like marrying robots and then not procreating at all.
And all 16-year-olds want an older guy who's like capable and strong and everything to sweep them off their feet. That's what everybody wants.
He's projecting. Oh, he was projecting. That's what he wants. Hold on.
Who's like capable and strong and everything to sweep them off their feet. That's what everybody.
That's what he wants. He wants a big, strong bear, just to put his arms around him. He just wants somebody to a big, strong man to princess carry him. Over. That's what he wants. That's what he sees in his dreams. Anyway, that's the latest. That's the latest goss about Nick Fuentes. I mean, hold on. Let me see real quick. Let me see how bad it's gotten for Nick. Maybe I'm over exaggerating. Maybe it hasn't gotten that bad. Maybe not that many people are, never mind. Look here. Oh, we have Chris Brunette here. Oh, great Fuentes detractors. One of my favorite Fuentes detractors. I actually used some of his research in my video. He made an entire compilation of Nick having takes like this. Nick Fuentes 6 months ago, Jeffrey Epstein had a pedophile island and Trump is covering it up. Nick Fuentes this week. This whole pedo thing is like, they're not really pedophilia. It's not really pedophilia. They weren't trafficking 5-year-olds. It was like they were technically not legal. Big deal. The issue is not that they were barely legal teens, which is what it was. Jeff Epstein, not a pedophile, but you're not ready for that conversation. All of his victims, 14 to 17. That's not pedophilia. People say that's normalizing pedophilia. No, that's defining pedophilia. Epstein's my boy, dude. Let's just be honest. Epstein was cool as fuck. I said it. What are you gonna do? Go ahead. Cancel me. Yeah, I said it. Jeffrey Epstein was cool as fuck. So this is where we're at with Nick. I don't see his momentum in 2026 continuing like it was going in the latter half of 2025. Am I saying that Jeffrey Epstein? Am I saying that Nick Fuentes is about to go away forever? Of course not. But he's not going to be the big deal that his groypers were saying. Oh, he was gonna. Groypers have been so fucking annoying in the comment section of my video. And I don't just mean with them trying to like say slurs or anything, because I don't give a fuck about that. I don't care groypers trying to insult me in the comment section or trying to insult me on Twitter or any of that shit. I actually engage in that. What actually bothers me is when they kept saying this video was aging like milk. Oh, this video didn't age too well, did it? Oh, Nick is blowing up harder than he ever has before. Oh, you're wrong about this one. You still have time to take this video down, Unc. Saying shit like that. It's like, nah, nigga, I know Nick Fuentes better than you think that you do, bro. I know. I knew how it was gonna go for Nick. November, December, and January, he was going to do something or several somethings that was going to completely kill his momentum and just kill 2025 being the year of the groypers, as this naive groyper right here was saying just 2 weeks ago in the last week of December. So we're going to watch this video right here. This video is from a groyper. We're going to watch this groyper video. Mikey the Tractor is saying that he's surprisingly articulate again. I wish I was more articulate. I feel like I slip up on my words a little bit too much on stream, but I'm getting better at it. It's because, I just try and talk too fast. But I would rather have that. I'd rather slip up on my words occasionally than have too much dead air. Anyway, we're going to be watching this video called 2025 Was the Year of the Groypers by Tom Foe. Tom Foe is obviously a groyper. He's one of Nick's biggest fanboys. He's made several videos defending Nick, defending America First, defending the groyper movement, talking about how the West is falling. Here's a discussion he's having here. Latest video. Can Gen Z save America? We might watch some of his other videos in the future, but I just wanted to watch this one because it didn't even take 2 years. I mean, 2 years. It didn't even take 2 weeks. It didn't even take 2 weeks for this nigga's prediction about how 2026 was going to pan out for Nick, for him to just flush it down. Because how was he supposed to know? How was he supposed to know his Lord and Savior Nick Fuentes was going to come out and say that Jeffrey Epstein was a cool guy and that he wasn't even a pedophile? How was he supposed to see that one coming? Now I could see it coming because unlike this guy, I actually know a thing or two about Nick. I don't suck his balls and I fall for Nick's propaganda and shit like that. But this dude, he doesn't know that he doesn't know as much as he thinks he knows. Let's just say that. Gonna make this screen a little bit lower, a little bit smaller. I mean, all right, that's good enough. Yeah, maybe I can make it a little bit. Want to make it fill the screen. Okay. All right, that's good. Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we did it. We survived 2025. We made it to the end, and we are living. We are still breathing. We are here. And what a crazy year, dude. This year, I don't think anybody had half of the shit that occurred this year on their bingo card. I don't think most people...
Oh, hold on real quick. Let me read some of these super chats. Red Heracross, thank you for $2. He know all about getting gay. K. Emmanuel, thank you for $1.99. How's it going, fellow straights? Nick Fuentes.
If you were to ask them in 2024, it's like, hey, what do you think would happen in 2025? How do you think it's going to go? I don't think most people would even get like 20% of it right, to be quite honest. I don't care where you are politically. I don't care who you are. I think most people were just in for a surprise this year, and it's insane. It's insane.
Oh, by the way, about this guy, Tom Foe, as you can see, he is a Leafy clone. He is a Leafy clone in year of 2026. Year of our Lord 2026, he is a Leafy clone who's also a Groyper fanboy.
All the shit that happened.
So there you go. But Groyper Leafy clone in 2026.
We're here and we're surviving and we're alive. And you know, I was thinking like, what is this year going to be remembered as? What is 2025 going to be remembered as? And I really did a lot of thinking and I was like, well, it's going to be known truly as the year of the Groypers. The year of the wing half, baby. The year.
I don't understand why Groypers were taking so many victory laps in late 2025. What did Nick actually do? Like they were celebrating people who weren't just fucking dissident right rats, basically talking to Nick again. Like people who actually had a bit of clout were willing to talk to Nick for like 45 minutes and they were treating that as a W. Nothing happened.
Nick Fuentes.
Like, Nick still didn't do anything. He didn't accomplish anything, really. He just, like, went on a few podcasts, and they act like, I don't know, that was a big W.
Literally broke the glass ceiling and entered the mainstream. Because if you think about it, right, a lot of people would disagree. A lot.
Did he? Like, what did he do? How did he enter the mainstream? Like, he was still being disavowed by people in the GOP. Nobody was repping bro's flag.
A lot of people get mad when you talk about Nick. They get all mad and they get all bitchy and they get, they're like that, you know? And it's like, if you think about it, really, just
people
be honest,
like me.
Look at all the stuff that happened this year. A lot of the predictions he made were 100% correct about Iran, Trump's loyalty to Israel, what was going to happen in the Ukraine war, like all these different things. A lot of it was correct. And then also, you have the MAGA civil war. You have the Republican conservative civil war, the fracture, not only a generational thing, but literally the big MAGA coalition that everybody thought would be unstoppable. I mean, last year, I knew liberals who were so pissed off Trump won, and they would say shit like, yeah, we're not going to win another election for at least 12 years. I actually remember hearing two of my liberal friends say that. in a conversation. They were serious. Little did they know it would only take 1 year for Trump to fuck everything up, the administration to fuck everything up, and now everybody is just assuming the midterms are going to be the Democrats just cleaning house.
Oh, man. It only took 2 weeks. It only took 2 weeks for so many predictions in this video to just shit up. Nick is already trying to kiss up to Trump again. Now that Trump is gaining momentum, now that Trump and his administration are making moves that are getting somewhere, Nick is on the MAGA train again. And of course, all of his fans, they're going to flip-flop and they're going to act like they were like big-upping Trump, right? And they weren't just trying to tear Trump down, tear Vance down, do all this shit, whatnot. Just be nuisances. That's what Groypers are. They're just nuisances, and they act like they're impacting some sort of political change.
Wrong. Like, at this point, all the things that are happening, it's like, who knows what's going to happen next year? But when it comes to this year, when it comes to 2025, I mean, with the MAGA Republicans having this civil war, who started that? What started that? A lot of people would argue and say, oh, but Candace Owens, this is her year. This is her year because she's been doing such great. She's getting a lot of views, a lot of subscribers.
She has. Holy shit. Hold on. Let's look at Candace real quick. Let's look at Candace's channel real quick. First off, I'm amazed that Candace is still fucking on. Oh, of course. She had fucking Myron on her fucking channel just a day ago. How come Myron is going on Candace's channel when he's also a Nick Fuentes ball washer? Isn't that like a conflict of interest for him? I don't know. Some fucking Fed logic. Anyway, we can see now. These views are fucking crazy. Look at this shit. 700K, 2.2 million, 1.2 million, 1.6 million, 2 million, 700K, 1.2 million. This shit is crazy. Fucking the quartering would sacrifice all of his staff in some fucking demonic satanic ritual to get views like this. Just insane. Almost 6 million subs and still climbing. You be a fucking dumbass. You be stupid to say 2025 wasn't Candace's crazy ass year. Russ Cole, thank you for $10. I'm sorry, but voluntarily accepts a nickname that is so close to Groyper. Every time I hear that word, I instantly think these people want to be viewed as predators. They do. That's the in-joke. Groypers is supposed to sound identical to the words you're thinking about. That's the point. That's the joke.
Making a lot of money, and I disagree. It's not her year.
Groypers think it's funny.
You know why? Because she was always...
It's why they make so many rape jokes.
Mainstream.
It's why they make so many rape jokes involving people's actual children.
Candace Owens has always been mainstream. She was never completely censored. She was never shut out. Some people would say... Oh,
I don't know about that.
It's Tucker's year. Tucker's the one. Tucker's always been mainstream. Like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Those two people literally could talk to each other on their shows, and nobody gave a fuck. Nobody cared. Nobody, started some civil war over it. You would have certain people.
I don't know about that, dude. Like, fucking Charlie Kirk's widow literally had to call Candace in and have a one-on-one discussion with her. Like, she wasn't giving Nick Fuentes anywhere near that level of... Nobody was.
Here and there that would bitch and complain, obviously, but nothing serious. It was never something that would start a fracture in the Republican movement. But as soon as
Tucker and Candace have way more clout and weight on the right than Nick has. Nick wishes he had as much motion as either of those two.
Talks to Nick, all hell breaks loose. All the Zionists get mad. All the Judeo-Christians get mad. All the MAGA Republicans, who, funny enough, at the very beginning of MAGA were never Trumpers, start to get mad, and they start to act like they own the place, and they run the place like fucking Ben Shapiro over here.
Do they not? Do they not run the place? I mean, nigga, who's in charge? Who's running the country?
Here, talking, bitching about how, oh, you don't condemn the people I don't like. You don't condemn the people I don't like. How dare you? You're not Republican. It's like this guy has any say over what the conservative movement is. I have to agree with Megyn Kelly on that, at least. She's like Ben Shapiro.
Oh, Megyn Kelly. Ain't Megyn Kelly? Somebody in chat said that Megyn Kelly was another person who was saying that Epstein wasn't really a pedophile. Is that true?
Thinks he gets...
If so, that would make sense about why Groypers like her too.
To decide. And it's like, yeah, that dude was a never Trumper. He hated Trump. He didn't want to vote for Trump. Barely wanted to vote for him last year until he found out how much he was going to be sucking off Israel. But it's funny, like Nick going on talking to Tucker, that's what...
Nick was also a never Trumper. Nick, at the beginning of like his political career, when he was still a high schooler, he was a never Trumper. He wanted Trump. He thought Trump should have stepped down. He was going to vote for Ted Cruz early into the 2026 election.
Does it? That's what does it. That's what breaks the glass ceiling. And a lot of people, they get mad. People who are either supporters of mine who just don't like Nick, and there are people who subscribe to me and watch my content, whether they react to it or they are just kind of hate watching, and they don't like me at all. They don't like any of my politics.
That's what we're doing. We're hate watching.
Disagree with me?
I'm not really hate watching. I don't hate this guy, but I just thought this was an interesting video because I wanted all of us to see what the perspective of somebody who fucks with Nick Fuentes really is. How do they think, right? How do they see the political landscape in Nick's place in it?
Subscribe to dislike my video and leave hate comments. And it's fine. I welcome people who have different opinions. That's fine, whatever. But you guys can just keep bitching. All of you guys can just keep bitching. You can keep crying. You can keep being gay and retarded. I don't care. It's fine. It's your right to be gay and retarded and
really letting us know how much you don't care.
Be a little bitch about stuff. That's fine. But just understand, 2025 will be known as the year of the Groypers, the year of Nick Fuentes entering the mainstream. And I mean, like, how can you really disagree if you think about it? The same treatment Trump was.
Okay, I'm thinking about it. And I really don't see. What did he do? What did he do? He did more. He did more in that year where he was going against Charlie Kirk. He did more in 2019. He did more in 2020. He didn't do shit in 2025 except go on some podcast. Like, what did he do? He doesn't have America First is just, here's the thing that people don't understand about America First. America First isn't a movement anymore. America First is a brand. America First is something that Nick Fuentes can put on a mug, put on a shirt, put on a hoodie, put on a hat, and then sell to his fans. That's what it is. America First is just something for merchandising at this point. It's not a movement. Nick doesn't have any chapters. Nick does not send people out to canvass for politicians. Nick doesn't have any America First politicians even like running for local office anywhere, right? America First isn't a movement. Nick Fuentes isn't really a political figure. He's just a commentator. Nick Fuentes affects politics basically as much as I do when you get down to it. So I don't know what he's like. How could you actually argue? If you're arguing that political commentators actually affect American politics that much, then there's no way that you could say that it's the year of the Groypers instead of the year of Candace Owens or the year of Tucker Carlson, who have way more motion and way more reach than Nick Fuentes has.
Getting in 2016, before he won the election, with all the media and the establishment Republicans and the establishment Democrats, all of them being threatened by him and just constantly, all right, we got to start talking shit about Trump. And one report after another, one news segment after another. It was
like, what is those news segments about Nick in 2025? All of those were like trying to make him sound like the coolest nigga on earth. Like, hold on, let me go ahead. Let me look real quick. Nick Fuentes. Let's see. 2025. Nick Fuentes is not just another alt-right boogeyman. Nick Fuentes is not just another alt-right boogeyman. The rise of white nationalist streamer should worry us even more than it already does. Let's see. Let me find another one. Oh, here goes one from the Rolling Stone. The war over Nick Fuentes is over. He won. The right tore itself apart over Tucker Carlson's interview with the white nationalists. Trump shrugged. Now he's everywhere. These are the articles. These dude is trying to say we're trying to tear Nick down. They're trying to make him sound like he's a force of nature. Like he's going to take on the globe and shit.
Never ending because
they were glazing for real.
They believed, all right, we have some influence. We have some level of respect by the American.
Yes, he is Richard Spencer 2.0. They were literally doing the exact same thing with Richard Spencer. Trying to make him sound like he was this big deal, a way bigger deal than he was. And then as soon as they got the opportunity, as soon as Charlottesville happened and he fucking destroyed, he destroyed himself and took the alt-right down with him, they were done with that fool.
People don't
They didn't have any other use for him. He served his purpose. He destroyed the alt-right. There was no other point in platforming Richard Spencer.
Respect our opinions so we can just shit on Trump and he won't win. And then he did win. It's the same treatment Nick's getting right now. It's like all these different establishment people, they're coming out and they're talking about him constantly. You have the Piers Morgan interview, which is hilarious, dude. Anytime I see somebody, and this is kind of like a litmus test, anytime I see somebody who watched the Piers Morgan interview and thinks Piers Morgan won, like they seriously believe that, I'm like, okay, now I don't ever have to take you serious ever. Okay, now you just don't look at...
Piers Morgan is just tabloid shit. It's just tabloid shit for the news. That's all. It's a freak show. You know what Piers Morgan is? Piers Morgan is the Keemstar of politics. His show is just low-cal live, but just for eccentric political figures. That's why he likes to have on... He has on people like Nick Fuentes and Destiny and Candace and Kanye and shit. It's not a real, like, serious political show or anything like that. It's a freak show. It's a political freak show. That's what it is.
Reality. You just deny reality. You are so full of shit. You're so retarded. You're so gay. It's like, I don't ever have to take anything you say serious ever again. Like, I automatically know you're a bitch. It's so funny. And I get some people don't like the way Nick talks. They're like, oh, he says slurs. The groypas are mean. I don't like these goys, these groypas. They're just so mean. They don't like Israel. They don't like the Jewish oligarchs.
I mean, that's not the reason why. That has nothing to do. Dudes like this, guys like this are so far removed from the reason why people like me hate Nick Fuentes. They can't even register it. They can't even register. Why would you hate Nick for reasons that don't relate to his politics? Well, it's just because he's a shitty person. It has nothing to do with him using slurs or saying nigga or anything like that. It has to do with him fucking defending pedophilia, with him fucking harboring pedophiles in his movement, with him just being a snake, him snaking his friends, him abandoning his followers who went to Jan 6th, who went inside the Capitol on Jan 6th, even though he encouraged them to do so. And then when they got caught and had to go to prison, he fucking laughed about it and said he wanted nothing to do with losers. Those are the reasons why I hate Nick Fuentes. Fuck him saying fucking nigger or anything. Who cares about that?
In their own country. What gives? The people who call us heritage Americans.
Fuck him like not liking Jews or Israel. Who gives a shit?
Those people are losing too. You know, the Viveks, all these people that are like, a real American is somebody who has a piece of paper and a green card, and that's what an American is. That philosophy is dying. The melting pot philosophy is dying. The younger generation doesn't buy it. The older generations are waking up to it being complete bullshit. And we're starting to have conversations. When I started this channel, just 3-4 months ago, and we were talking about immigration and all these different things, and we made that video on remigration, and I told you, I was like, look, it's going to become a mainstream talking point. You're going to see a lot of different people bring this up. And not even a month later, government websites and government Twitter profiles were tweeting remigration. All these different people start bringing it up. They're slowly starting to adopt our talking points, not the talking points of the melting pot Americans.
Their talking points. These dudes, right? They only live in their own little ecosystem. They don't understand anything that goes on outside of it. So they think that they come up with everything. They think that Nick Fuentes came up with they don't even know that the ideas that they're trying to fucking claim as their own shit that Nick stole from people years ago, that he was just he called those people dumb wignats, dumb Nazis, and that they needed to stop talking about shit like that. That's what Nick originally said, until eventually he started, he decided that optics weren't that important. Back when he was the optics king, he called those people dumb wignats, but then optics went out the window and he stole all of the talking points from the people he called stupid before. They don't even know that.
Not the talking points.
These people don't know any of the old Nick Fuentes lore at all.
The Vivek Ramaswamy, the Groyper talking points, the America First Patriot talking points.
Yes, Nick is literally a mutt Ellis Islander. There is no part of that dude. He's Mexican, he's Irish, and he's Italian. 100% wetback American. Like, there's no part of him there's no part of his lineage that didn't come either over the border or across an ocean.
That's what they're starting to do. They're starting to placate to us, and I said they would.
No lineage up until like the Civil War.
I said
or the Revolution or the Mayflower, any of that shit.
Ready, because they need us.
Maybe not even World War I.
And they understand that. And so they're going to start placating to us. They're going to start adopting our talking points. They're going to start saying the rhetoric we say because they want us to like them. Because that's their goal, is to kind of come in, take control of our movement, and subvert it into basically being okay with feminism and, Israel and all this bullshit. Because that's what they did with MAGA. And that's what they did with...
Nick platformed Ethan Ralph. No. You got it backwards. Ethan Ralph originally platformed Nick Fuentes. That's how Nick started making his way. He came up. he came up through the internet blood sport circles, right? And he was one of those people who was riding off the coattails of Ethan Ralph back when Ralph was like somebody, back when he was like big bro. Everybody looked up at Ralph. He was a big bro in everybody. He had all the numbers. He was making all the money. He had all the connections to all these people in all these different communities. Fucking Keemstar and Destiny came on the fucking kill stream back in the day. Never forget that, bro. Never forget how much of Nick Fuentes' career is owed to Ethan Ralph.
The Tea Party. And Nick, he said on his show the other day, that's what he said. He said that was going to be one of the strategies going into 2026 that the establishment was going to do. And don't think we won. You know, the fight is not going to get any easier. It's like the fight is really kind of just beginning. It's like now we have entered the arena and it's going to get worse. You're going to have all these people try to come in, try to subvert our movement. And so we have to, you know, be watchmen of that. We have to be wary of these people, these strangers. But regardless of that, that's next year. This year, they moved closer and closer to us. They're threatened by us. The reason why they talk about Nick so much is because they're threatened.
Little bro, these people, ain't nobody worried about you. Ain't nobody worried about the Groypers. Why do the Groypers think that, like, they're scary? Why do they think that they're threatening to somebody, bro? Like, the worst you ever intimidated somebody was Charlie Kirk during the Groyper War. And really, he was just worried because you guys kept coming up and asking him troll questions. He wasn't even scared of you guys for real. He wasn't afraid that you guys were going to, like, get him into a big debate and fucking make him look like an oaf. That's not what he was worried about. You guys aren't intimidated. You guys don't have any fucking motion like that, dude. Oh, because they ratio on Twitter. Of course, Nick ratios on Twitter with his fucking bot army in his army of third worlders who follow him. Zandor Vorkov, thank you for $2. Nick Amos yeeted his popularity back to the source. Oh, Nick almost yeeted his popularity back to the source. Okay.
By him. The reason why they talk about...
I had to. That's a throwback. Amos Yee. You remember when Sargon tried to defend Amos Yee because he thought that he was joking, even though Amos Yee was literally on Twitter putting up pictures of like 13, 12-year-old girls saying, how could you not be a pedophile? Like literally. Like literally, that's what he did.
Groyper so much is...
And Groyper was like, you guys don't understand. He's trolling you. He's trolling you, and you guys don't even understand it.
Because they're threatened by us. They understand that when young men, especially young white men, get together and start realizing that they're kind of getting the raw end of the deal, and they're like, you know, we actually don't like that, and we actually want to change that, and we want to put ourselves first, and we don't want to support Israel. When we start talking like that, and we start having these conversations, it actually terrifies them. Because understand, we're the ones that threaten the entire system. The establishment Democrats, the establishment Republicans, the Jewish oligarchs, the neocons.
Oh, Medicare also thought Amos Yee was trolling? Oh, okay. Well, shit, I guess Amos Yee, I guess he really did he was putting the wool over everybody's eyes. Well, you know, in Jim's defense, he did make that video. He did make that video about Amos Yee. So he kind of redeemed himself by laughing at it and shit.
All these different people. And now MAGA itself, at least the version of MAGA we have today, which was completely taken over by never-Trumpers to begin with. And all the OG MAGA people who actually supported Trump at the very beginning, they're jumping ship. They're leaving. They're exiting the movement because it has become a part of the deep state. It has become a part of the swamp. And the only group that really threatens that at this point, truly, like in a meaningful way, is the Groypers.
Oh my God. Bro thinks that he and the rest of the Groypers are like the fucking resistance in Star Wars. Like they're the only ones who can save America. If they don't do it, nobody else will.
Is the young America First Patriots and is Nick Fuentes. So that's why I
in Nick Fuentes, of course, his E-daddy.
Say 2025.
That's so unfortunate. That's so unfortunate for all the young people like this dude whose E-daddy is gonna be fucking Nick Fuentes. That's so tragic.
Is the year of the Wang half, is the year of the Groypers. I think it's undeniable.
I would say it's not impossible to not have an E-daddy, but it is kind of inevitable that a lot of people, they end up in some sort of parasocial relationship with some YouTuber or streamer or whatever have you. Having whoever your first E-daddy or E-mommy is probably going to have a lot of... It's like you're playing an RPG, right? And let's say you're playing a cleric. So you have to choose a god. and whatever god you choose. It's like Baldur's Gate, right? Like whatever god you choose, that's going to affect your move set. It's going to affect like certain things you can say to people. It's going to affect certain shit in the story. It's no different from like choosing who your first e-daddy or e-mommy is going to be. It's going to greatly affect how you interact with the internet going forward. So in real life too, now. So if your first e-daddy is fucking Nick Fuentes, like that's kind of, it's gonna be rough for you, bro. You're gonna be taken for a ride.
At this point, I think at this point,
hopefully you end up like a lot of people, and you end up becoming like disenchanted with Nick and leaving the movement. Or I guess a groiper who had a good ending was Michael Alberto. He used to be a groiper. He was the dude who hosted the Nick Fuentes Medicare debate, right? He ended up getting kicked out of the movement because when Ethan Ralph decided to snake Nick Fuentes, right? And he started doxing Nick's top groipers and shit in the parking lot of one of Nick's rallies and shit. Nick basically, he pulled some Fabian Maximus tactics like he did against Hannibal on Ralph. And he said, nobody talks to Ralph. Nobody speaks to Ralph. Nobody speaks of Ralph. He doesn't exist. He no-named. He unpersoned Ethan Ralph. That's how scared of Ralph that Nick used to be. And Michael Alberto, he just responded to something that Ralph asked him about on social media, and they kicked him out. So that's a good ending. That's a good ending for Michael Alberto. But I doubt that this guy, Tom Foe, is going to get that sort of happy ending.
if you're just kind of disagreeing with that, it's either you're a hater, you just don't like the term.
He's going to end up, he probably won't end up. The worst endings for groipers were the dudes who, I don't know, who ended up getting molested by Ollie Alexander. And the second worst ending were the people who ended up getting arrested for Jan 6th. So he won't end up like that, but it's not going to go great for him. Nick Fuentes is your E-Daddy. Catoid325, thank you for the whatever currency that is. My E-Daddy is Chud Logic. Unfortunately, he's an absent father and abusive.
You don't like the idea of it, but trust me, 2-3 years from now, you'll see it like that. I think most people will view it in that way, whether they like it or not. Because no other political commentator, even like from a liberal point of view, did what Nick did this year. No other group did what the Groipers did this year. It's pretty incredible, the fact that it actually happened. And this year was pretty bad. A lot of horrible things happened. But
wait, hold up. Is the stream gone? Is the stream gone?
a lot of horrible things happen every year.
Somebody said
for
the stream shit it. What, did it go away? Am I still here? Okay.
Most part, Americans kind of won in the sense that a lot of us.
This is what happened. I gotta be careful. Holy shit. Maybe it's because I said Chud Logic. It's like YouTube. Maybe YouTube doesn't like that name. YouTube doesn't like it when I mention Chud Logic.
But I think for the most part, Americans.
They think that I'm like hosting rape reviews like Chud would.
It's kind of won in the sense that a lot of us woke up to the bullshit. We started smelling the manure. We started realizing, all right, this isn't what we paid for. This isn't what we signed up for. And now we have talks of like white replacement in our own country. This is becoming mainstream, whether it's the TikTok edits, whether it's the Instagram reels, whether it's the people actually reporting on these things, talking about these things in mainstream circles. This is a net positive for us. And for a while, we've had like this kind of like freedom to just say whatever we wanted to on the internet. And that's going to become...
You could always do that. What the fuck are you talking about? If you want to, you can thank Elon Musk for that. Elon Musk, he kind of brought back, when Elon Musk bought X, he made it like an actual free speech-ish, because it's not really a free speech platform, but a free speech-ish platform. He kind of made letting people say the shit they want to on the internet cool again. So you've been seeing guidelines loosen on all the major sites like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. YouTube has let a lot of people back on the site now. So you can thank Elon for that if you really want to.
To a close pretty soon. And
Quiet Rioter, thank you for $5. My e-mommy was Lauren Chin. I muted her videos because I didn't want to support Comrade Lauren's media site. Blat.
and I'll talk about that.
That's a shame, bro. If you'd given Lauren just a couple more dollars, maybe Putin would have taken Ukraine by now.
In a minute, but 2025 is the year of the Groipers, hands down. You might not like it. You might hate Nick. You might hate the word Groipers. You might not like the group. But it's undeniable. Like, this group grabbed this country by the balls and just shook them. It scared everybody, and it's good, because they should be afraid, because they fucking suck. They sell us out every single day of the week. And now they actually have to worry about people coming together and saying, hey, you know, we actually don't want to be sold out. We actually don't want to be ethnically replaced in our own nation. We actually do give a shit about putting America first, really, not supporting Israel at all. We actually don't want to bomb kids in Palestine, to be honest, or at least we don't want our fucking tax dollars paying for that bullshit. We don't want that. So now we are threatening them. But because of that, don't think they're going to take this long.
See, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with some of these points, but it's like, I don't know. What else do you have? What do the Groypers have that doesn't relate to Israel? Because it seems like Israel is their everything. It seems like if we actually did accomplish of giving Israel no more money or at least less money, and we also stopped IPAC from just donating so much money to politicians in Congress, Groypers would have nothing left to say.
Down.
Like at all.
Are gearing up to push censorship. And just so you guys know, I had a Rumble exclusive video come out this morning, and it was talking about how the Tikva...
What is that? The Zionist censorship is coming, my friend? Bro, how old is this dude? Is this dude even 18, 19? Boy, look, my guy. Oh, hey, he blew up. He was like, he had less than 1,000 subs back then. Now he has fucking, wait, followers? 900 and... Oh, that's on Rumble. Oh, okay. Well, hey, 970 followers on Rumble, that ain't nothing. But look, dude, the censorship on YouTube has came and went. Like, you were very, very late, sir.
Which is the...
You were not here for the adpocalypse. That shit was apocalyptic for real.
Government-funded...
The adpocalypse legit changed YouTube culture overnight.
Group that is now they're having all these conversations.
All the dissident righties and shit, they all got banned even before that point. It was crazy.
And talking about how they can use censorship to promote Zionism, to push Zionism on Americans. And if you think this is old news, the interview and the article in question that I talk about, the article came out yesterday, and the interview that I talk about in that Rumble exclusive video came out on Christmas. They recorded it before Christmas, and they waited to release it on Christmas because they knew most Americans would not be paying attention. They would be celebrating their holiday, so all the Jewish people could come together and start talking about how they could censor us, which is hilarious. But if you want to know more about that video, I'll put a link to it.
Bro, you can't let... I'm not anti-conspiracy theory, because I think a lot of conspiracy theories actually do lead to some place that's kind of lucid. But you can't let everything be a conspiracy theory, bro. At some point, you got to just let things be what they are.
The description.
The Jews are just carefully timing when they're going to drop their propaganda on Christmas Day because the Goyim are too busy opening their presents. Come on, dude.
And into the pinned comment, because you guys need to check out Rumble, man. There's going to be a lot of exclusives going forward.
Gore Noise Bulldozer, thank you for $5. You should look into Dawa bros like Malik, Muhammad, Hijab, Ali Dawah, Daniel Hinnick. Okay, there's a lot of Muslim. There's a lot of Arab names, brother. Most of them are evil and/or stupid. I will look into them. That sounds different.
The point is, the censorship is coming. Lindsey Graham himself, all these people are coming out. They're talking about how in February 2026, there's going to be an entire week dedicated to them talking about online censorship. And the Trojan horse they're going to use for that is under the guise of protecting children. Because obviously, children are being targeted by a lot of horrible groups online. There's no doubt about that. That's like a serious problem. And they're going to use that as a Trojan horse to kind of ram down censorship regarding anti-Semitism.
Hold on. Okay, so let's say this is true. Because you have had certain governments like the UK, which are trying to ban Twitter from their countries because of some new feature Twitter says, where they say like they've been using the feature to undress children, even though nobody has seen any evidence of this. So it could just be them making it up and just trying to come up with a reason for why they need to get rid of Twitter or whatever in their country. But let's say this is true. Wouldn't Nick Fuentes' little rant about Jeffrey Epstein not being a pedophile and him being the coolest thing actually really help with that sort of agenda? Wouldn't that help fuel that, right? That timing, Nick giving that sort of speech, that sort of rant, that sort of pro lowering the age of consent, Jeffrey Epstein isn't a pedophile rant, perfectly correlates with this agenda. And they could like, oh, look at Nick Fuentes over here. He's on the platform and he's saying all this crazy shit about how documented pedophile isn't a pedophile and how the age of consent is bad. And they could use something like that, right? But he won't make that connection, right? All these conspiracy theories, but he can never connect Nick Fuentes to any of the conspiracies.
They're going to say, oh, we're trying to protect the kids, and they're going to have all these things to protect the kids, and then the 96 pages of the actual legislation is going to be on how you can't say stuff about Israel, and how you can't say stuff that goes against Jews, and you can't talk about the Talmud, or whatever they're going to do. Obviously, I don't know, but that's the goal. That's the kind of the idea. And the fact that all these different Jewish groups are having conversations now, gearing up for this legislation, just kind of proves that that's what's going to be occurring. But that's in February of this year. That's in 2 months.
Oh, Josh covered it, Sneed Bass? Well, okay.
And who knows what
I guess they did find a little bit of evidence.
whatever they come up with.
Got to clean that up, Elon.
When it's going to get passed, I can guarantee you it's going to be unanimous, at least to the point to where most.
Randall Shirker, thank you for the $5. It's crazy because Tom Foe is making the rounds outside of Nick's orbit, even among various people who hate Nick.
Of them are going to.
Well, that's an advantage. This dude said that people who don't like him, who disagree with him and don't like Nick are welcome on his channel. So I think that's actually that's a big plus in him. That's a big plus for him compared to other groypers, is that he's actually willing to engage with people who disagree with him and don't like Nick. That's actually a very big plus and helps him grow.
Vote for it.
The problem with a lot of groypers is that they're so pro Nick, so loyal to Nick, they won't even hear a dissenting opinion about him and his movement. And that really just, it cuts their wings from the beginning.
It's going to pass. And when it does, there's going to be a new wave of censorship. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know how subversive it's going to be. I don't know how subliminal the censorship is going to be. I don't know. It could be just straight up. The ban hammer comes out. Yours truly gets banned. Jimmy gets banned. Everybody gets banned. All the Wang halves get banned off YouTube, off X. I don't know how it's going to go. It could be that, or it could be more kind of quiet. It could be just you get blacklisted. Your videos just can't get views, stuff like that. I mean, who knows what they're going to do? It could be a lot of different things. I would assume it's not going to be just one strategy, but that's something we need to be mindful of going forward into 2026 because the fight rages on. Like, it's not getting any easier. And if you want to know more about that whole conversation, check out the video, the Rumble exclusive, if you're interested in that. And follow me on Rumble because we're going to have a lot more exclusives going forward in 2026, especially if there's going to be censorship coming. It's just going to happen. But about the, 2026, let's talk about the positives.
Hey, what's this game, by the way? This game looks kind of tough. I'm not going to lie.
Let's talk about the fun part. The fun part is the Groyper War is back on. And it's not just a Groyper War, it's the Groyper Crusades. They are
the Groyper Crusades. We've upped it. We're not just at war. Now they're crusading. They don't give a fuck. You no longer. They're not holding back anymore. Now they're going full tilt. They will reclaim the Holy Land for the Groyper cause.
Officially a go. A lot of you have probably already heard this. But we are going to war in 2026 against a lot of different people. But first stop is Vivek Ramaswamy. This dude has become
first step. Like, look, dude, when I heard, I thought I saw how Vivek was moving and how he was talking out the side of his mouth, which is really his problem. The problem with Vivek is that he just says too much. If he would just talk less, he would probably do better. But he just keeps putting his foot in his mouth time and time again. And I was thinking, you know what? Vivek actually might, against all the odds, lose his election because he just won't shut the fuck up and won't stop saying stupid shit. And then I saw like Nick Fuentes say that he was going to personally make sure that Vivek didn't win his election or something like that. And I'm like, okay. Well, Vivek is definitely going to win now. Like, there's no way that Vivek isn't going to win his election if Nick Fuentes is counting him out. If Nick Fuentes is counting against somebody, if Nick Fuentes is pro somebody's political career, they're going to fail. If he's anti somebody's political career, that person is probably going to win and thrive and stay in the game for a while. Like, every time, I can't think of a single politician who Nick was pro, who ended up like winning and doing well, except for Trump. And he wasn't even pro Trump in the beginning. He was pro Ted Cruz. So it's like barely even. I don't know. The Fuentes curse is also, it works in inverse, right? You get the reverse. We talked about this before. There's a reverse inverse version of the Fuentes curse where Nick tries to fucking curse you with his Mexican Aryan magic and shit, and he ends up accidentally blessing you instead. So I could see it happening.
Our enemy, in the sense that this demon-worshipping anchor baby fuck who doesn't wear shoes, who hates Americans, he talks about how Americans are lazy.
Gore Noise Bulldozer, thanks for the $5. Daniel Hakikaju defends Daniel Hakikaju defends child marriage. Also, the newest Dawa Bro Jr. has proven himself to be sub 50 IQ.
A lot of different people, but first stop is Vivek Ramaswamy. This dude has become our enemy in the sense that this demon-worshipping anchor baby fuck who doesn't work.
Okay, look, bro, you can't be a Nick Fuentes fan and then complain about anchor babies. You cannot be a fan of a dude who is Mexican, Irish, and Italian and then complain about fucking anchor babies. We literally know that Nick Fuentes' grandfather literally comes from Mexico. Like literally, his granddad was Mexican, was a Mexican immigrant. Nick Fuentes is like a third generation Mexican American. You can't complain about anchor babies and then you worship Nick Fuentes. You can't.
Shoes who hates Americans, who talks about how Americans are lazy and Indians are so great and we need more H-1Bs. And make no mistake about it, the game plan at this point is to have Vivek win in Ohio and then have companies like Anduril that get all these military contracts that want to start building their facilities in Ohio to create jobs, quote unquote. Make no mistake about it, their goal is to give a lot of those jobs to foreigners, to Indians. But for that to happen, you know, Vivek has to win. But this dude is supposed to be on our side. We're told by all these MAGA Republicans that this fuck is supposed to be on our side. And yet he's going to go on stage and he's going to insult heritage Americans. He's going to make fun of us. He's going to say, oh,
Nick Fuentes is not a heritage American. He isn't. Like, what do you mean? He's insulting. Okay, he's insulting you. He's definitely not insulting Nick because Nick does not have ancestors who were here when the Mayflower got here, who were here during the colonial era, who were here during the Revolution, during the Civil War, during the Spanish-American War, right? He wasn't.
There's a growing consensus online of you're only an American because you have a lineage here, and an American isn't actually a white person, it's whoever. That fucking gay bullshit.
That should resonate with Nick Fuentes more than anybody else. Like, I don't understand this, bro. Groypers have no fucking sense of awareness. I guess they just give him a pass. They give Nick a pass. They say Nick is one of the good ones. Nick is one of the good ones. He gets to stay. Look, if we're doing a thing where heritage Americans only now, like if you're not a heritage American, you don't get to stay here. Nick Fuentes is gonna have to pack his fucking bags because he cannot stay. There's no way. There's no way that Nick's family has been here. There's no way Nick can like trace his lineage back a full century. I doubt it. There's no way he's had family that has been here like since Reconstruction. Mighty Pingus, thank you for $20. Keep up the good work, dude. If you have a schedule, you should do a morning show. Seeing you pop up while working is Kino. I will. I prefer morning shows, but you know, I got to do something tomorrow, so I had to stream now. How do I now mispronounce your name? Gore Noise Bulldozer, thank you for $2. Also, Ali Dawa sounds like British Jar Jar Binks.
This dude thinks he can.
You're really hyping up these dudes, these brothers, man. I might have to get to that.
Go out on stage, even though he's supposed to be the one fighting for us that we're told, supposedly. He's going to go on stage.
Yes, I am a real heritage American. I am foundational black, as Tariq Nasheed would say, right? I have ancestors who've been here since the colonial era. I've had black ancestors who fought for the Union in the Civil War as part of the colored troops. And I have white ancestors who fought for the Confederates during the Civil War. I have ancestors who fought on both sides of the Civil War. I am way more of a heritage American than Nick Fuentes will ever be.
And he's going to say this fucking bullshit, and then he's going to expect to win? Fuck no, dude. So the Groyper crusade is on. It is going, and we don't care who wins Ohio at this point. It's like, it doesn't matter if Vivek wins.
Do you not? Really? You don't care even a little bit? Like, surely if you don't want Vivek to win, you will want somebody who's more pro your values to win, right?
If you're a real American, and if you...
This is why Groypers are so, like, dangerous if you're a right-winger, because they're just... They don't even realize it. They don't even realize how poisonous they are towards conservatives. Right? They're so anti-conservatives winning. They would rather conservatives lose everything than them win in a way that they didn't want.
I think living in Ohio, your state...
They don't even understand that the people who oppose the conservatives losing doesn't mean that they won't get what they want. It means that the thing that they want is going to get even further away. It's going to get even more impossible for them to get.
it would be better with Vivek as your governor compared to a Democrat or whoever, you're mistaken. Because at this point, these people, these establishment Republicans, these fake MAGA Republicans, these anti-American first Republicans, they're trying to sell you the idea that it's better to vote for them than the opposition. It's better to vote for them because they're the lesser of two evils, which is complete bullshit. Whereas a Democrat...
Is it complete bullshit? I mean, that's literally what it is. If you have the views that Groypers have, then yes, vote in for Vivek, even if you don't want to, even if you disagree with a lot of the shit opinions he has on heritage Americans and immigration and H-1B was and shit like that, then you should still say, okay, well, it's better than voting in the leftist, voting in the liberal, who's going to like do 1,000 times the things that I don't want.
Or progressive change.
We could maybe like survive Vivek for like 4 years and then vote in somebody who's less shit.
Changes things radically, and you could say quick.
They don't even like try and vote in an independent right-leaning person or a libertarian or some shit. Just nobody.
The only difference is these MAGA Republicans, what they do is they slowly change.
What do I think about Gypsy Crusader? I don't know. I don't know. I've never really thought much about the guy. I thought like he had some funny clips and all that shit, but I don't know. I've never really kept up with the drama of Gypsy Crusader. I just know that he's another one of those dudes who kind of like LARPs as white, right? He's one of those people who's kind of like white facing. He's kind of like Nick Fuentes. He's a white facer. People who just go around in white face pretending like they're white when they're really not.
But not in the ways you want. They still end up doing the things you don't want to happen. They still pass legislation that you would never support if you knew about it. They still advocate for things that ultimately you are not okay with and that you did not vote for. So at this point, it doesn't matter who wins Ohio. All that matters is that this fucker needs to lose. And he's going...
It doesn't matter who wins the flip state. That doesn't matter at all. And they do this. This is why the left wanted to boost Nick Fuentes' profile so much in 2025, because Groypers demoralize like instinctively. That's all they know how to do. They don't do anything else. They don't help anything. They don't create anything. They don't build anything. All they know how to do is be nuisances and demoralize people. That's it.
To lose. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be beautiful. But that's the game plan for 2026. And to anybody...
The game plan... Okay, so the game plan is to do nothing and make sure that conservatives lose. That's the game plan for 2026. The game plan for 2026 is to either make sure that conservatives we don't like lose, or to do nothing. Okay. Hey, that's a winning strategy.
Who would argue against it? Let me just go ahead and say, you cannot trust this man. You cannot trust this man. And to the 3 women that are watching this right now, you cannot trust this man with your kids. You cannot trust this man with your husband.
Imagine saying anybody else you can't trust them with your kids when you're a fan of Nick Fuentes. Bro, dude.
You can...
He doesn't know about Ali Alexander either. I know he doesn't. I wonder what he would react. I wonder if like I could get in like a call with this dude and just talk to him and ask him about shit like Ali Alexander or Nick's opinions about the age of consent and shit like that. What would he say? Right? He's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know anything about like Vivek's history with kids. I know he has some, unlike Nick, right? I know I've never heard him voice an opinion about lowering the age of consent or child marriage. So I don't know. He sounds at least safer to have around kids than Nick or Ali Alexander were.
Not trust this man with your cats or your dogs or your goats. And I know some of you are going to say, but Tom, the goats thing, that's for Arabs, not Indians. And I'm saying, no goats. Do not trust the Indian Pajit, man. He is not your ally. He is not your friend. Okay.
That's not even the right brown person, bro. You're thinking about fucking Arabs. You're thinking about Afghans. That's not even the right.
Do not fall for the curry.
Come on, bro. You got to get the racism correctly.
They're lies, okay? And
Indians are the poo people. They're not the goats and camel people. Come on, dude.
I said this on Twitter a week ago, but I'm going to say it again. It's official. To all the people who don't like Nick, to all the people that aren't Groypers who watch me, who support me in any way, you are now all honorary Groyper conscripts in the crusade. You are now a part of the army, whether you like it or not. I'm sorry. To all the people who are like, but I'm not a Groyper, but I like you, Tom, but like, I'm not that. Look, we're going to win this together, all right? It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing. We're taking this country back. First step, make sure this idiot loses. And that's step 1. And there's going to be a lot of other things.
This is Groyper activism. Groyper activism is to make a video talking shit about somebody and then saying that you won or that you're fighting a battle. Like, that's not activism, buddy. Actual activism. I mean, you can say what you want about the people in Minnesota and how fucking retarded they are and how they're fucking up their city. At least they go outside to actually protest, right? Like, they don't just like sit inside, make videos, make mean videos about Trump all day. They actually go outside and they protest shit and they fucking get in cops' faces and whatever the fuck and risk getting arrested and get like having shit blown into their face and getting all teary-eyed and whatnot. Groypers would never do any shit like that. When's the last time you've ever seen a Groyper protest? I can't remember any. Hana DM, thank you for $5. James Fishback has been throwing it back for Groypers, and he only raised $950 on his campaign. Well, see, that's what happens. They're not going to come out for you. Because here's the thing, if Nick actually did try and help somebody, actually tried to help out a politician, scratch somebody else's back after they scratched his, that guy could have gotten like thousands of dollars from donation because Nick is rolling in cash from his fucking followers. They donate thousands to that little nigga every month. He could have helped that dude. He could have put some money in that dude's war chest, but he doesn't give a fuck because he's ungrateful and he wouldn't help anybody. Oh, excuse me, Jan 6th. Okay. Okay, so that's the reason why Nick doesn't protest anymore. Because last time he did, he got caught up in the greatest federal investigation in U.S. history.
We're going to be fighting against censorship. We're going to be fighting against the Jewish oligarchs. But just understand, the powers that be want this guy to win. They want this guy to win. They want J.D. Vance to become the next president after Trump. They want to replace you with foreigners. They don't care if white people get replaced in their own nations. They don't give a shit about...
Who does? Who's your replacement? Who's your guy? I guess he just wants Nick to end up as president or whatever the fuck. I can't imagine what his other idea is. Corinne McKenzie, thank you for $5. Groypers are accelerationists who want things to get bad enough to incite the theoretical civil war they all secretly fantasize about fighting in. Oh, I know what you're talking about. See, here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that whole accelerationist theory that Groypers are so obsessed with. Accelerationists, trying to accelerate the downfall of the United States would only end up making the country shittier and making it browner, right? Because all you're going to do, let's say if the United States collapse, there'll be poor white people who stay behind, like, you know, in flyover country, like, you know, in places like that. And in poor communities like where J.D. Vance came from, those people would stick around. But a lot of the other white people, middle-class white people, especially rich white people, they would flee. You would just have white flight to Europe, to Australia, and places like that. Like you would just, and only people who would stick around really would mostly be brown people. It'd mostly be Latinos, the blacks. A lot of the Indians would just stay around and they would take over the communities after a lot of the white people would leave, right? So acceleration is all you're doing is just making a shittier, browner country, which maybe that's really the plan. Maybe that's the whole plan. The plan is just to make an even browner nation, and they're just pretending like that's not what they want. I don't understand why else you would want to accelerate the downfall of the United States. It seems like loser shit to me. Like loser shit where you try and act like you're winning after you kicked all the pieces off the board. Basically, like you're trying to take your ball and go home. Well, it's like, okay, nigga, we were playing on PlayStations. We weren't even playing with that shitty fucking ball. I mean, you can take that ball and you can go and play with yourself in your room. We were over here with we're playing Grand Theft Auto, dude. I'm sorry. You don't understand the game that everybody else was playing. That idiot, J. Sev, thank you for $2. Groypers are truly the left of the right.
Any of that. They want to replace you with slave labor, and they're going to do it while telling you that they're on your side and that they're fighting for you. But make no mistake about it.
When Nick led a protest in New York City, one of Ali's victims confront... Oh, I know the clip you're talking about.
They don't give a shit.
I used it in the video.
About you. They don't care. And that's pretty much it. That's kind of the whole point of the video. I was just talking about how this was a crazy year. I can't believe we made it to the end of the year and we're all still standing. But you know what? It's going to happen again.
Why would you not be? Nigga, you guys aren't doing anything. You aren't going outside. You aren't going outside to like get involved in anything. Like, what are you talking about?
To the end of 2026.
Who would try and take you out? Who's actually trying to take out Groypers or take out Nick Fuentes? Like, somebody got a hit on you guys?
Victorious. all right? I don't want no bitch, no doomer shit, no depressing shit, none of that. We're gonna be warriors. We're gonna let our nuts hang. We're gonna be men, okay? And that's not just the Gen Z men, the millennial men, the Gen Xer men, and even the 1 or 2 boomers that still know where they are and what they're talking about. We're all gonna come together and we're gonna win. Because more and more people every single day join our side. More and more people every single day either start to watch Nick, start to like Nick, start to become groypers, or even if you don't like that, they become America First aware. In the sense that all the people in positions of power are not America First. They don't actually care. And every day, we get more and more people on our side. And that's why we're so threatening. That's why all these people complain. That's why all these people get mad. All these bitch liberals that fucking are complaining about Nick.
Threatening. Why do groypers overestimate their standing in this thing? They really think that they're somebody. They really think they got motion. They really think that they're intimidating, that they hold any weight, that you guys don't even have voting power. You guys were like, during the 2024 election, right? Nick was all like, we're voting for Kamala. It's her term. It's brat season. And Kamala got her ass beat. Trump took literally every flip state. You guys have no voting power. You guys have no standing. You guys have no streamers or influencers affiliated with you besides Nick. Well, I guess Sneeko, maybe Myron and Jake Shields, and that's it, right? Like, you guys don't really have motion. Nobody is intimidated by you guys. Benjamin F, thank you for the 199. Never get an e-girl, Mikey. Oh, I know. I'm not going to end up like Turkey Tom, guys.
Not being canceled because it turns
No. Not me.
out getting canceled doesn't actually work.
I'm not getting exposed like these. I mean, I wouldn't get exposed anyway because I'm not into age play. But I'm not going to end up having all my beans spilled by some bitter e-girl. No, sir.
When you just don't give a fuck. When you're actually a wang half, it doesn't affect you at all. Because that's bitch shit. That's bitch shit, dude. It doesn't work. It's not working on us. It doesn't affect us because we just do not care. We don't care about the labels. We don't give a fuck. And so moving forward, we're going to continue to just take this country back. But it does start with these conversations. And I talked about my strategy and kind of a stragy that a lot of other YouTubers that you guys probably watch.
I didn't think he could get even more of a Leafy clone because I was like, well, at least he's not playing one of those. No.
Who make content similar to me are going to kind of have.
I mean, it's not the exact type of game that Leafy would have played.
2026 with all the possibilities.
Actually, maybe it kind of is.
Of censorship, all these different.
Wait, no, you know what this game looks like to me? You know, I just realized. You know what this game actually looks like to me? It doesn't even look like it looks like Vanquished.
A little warmer reception.
Yeah, it looks like a less stylish first-person version of Vanquished.
For things, we're going to do things a little bit differently, all right? But it's still going to be the same, but we're going to be a little bit more
Yes, Vanquished is goated.
strategic. You know, we're going to be a little bit more tactical on how we approach certain things. And that's why you guys need to follow me on Rumble, all right? The Rumble exclusives are going to go hard. We're going to be streaming too, and I will have, like I stream here and on Rumble, I'm going to have exclusive Rumble streams as well. I don't know when that's going to happen. I was supposed to do it this year before the end of the year.
Never mind. This does look like a fucking surfer game.
I just didn't have time. Christmas, all these
This looks like one of those, it's like a surfer game, but occasionally you have to actually fight enemies for once.
different things. But we will be doing that. That's a part of the game plan for next
Follow me to save the white race, just like his e-daddy, Nick Fuentes.
year. But guys, thank you all so much.
The secret to saving the white race is following some dude following a content creator and occasionally giving him money. That's how you save the West.
For the love and the support.
Fuck activism, fuck going out to protest, fuck like voting in elections. None of that actually affects anything. No, you got to support me, you got to support Nick, you got to support other dudes in America First, maybe occasionally buy some of Nick's merch, and that's how we're going to save the West, guys.
That has, you know, been going on with this channel. It's been amazing. It's been unreal. And I know a lot of people that get mad sometimes. They say, oh, well, this guy doesn't actually have his own opinions. He just watches Nick Fuentes and that's where he gets all of his opinions and he doesn't come up with anything on his own. It's like the people that say that, it's like you either just watch my stuff and you don't watch Nick, or you don't watch my stuff or Nick's, because I have several videos that I talk about that Nick doesn't talk about. I disagree with him on a bunch of stuff. Maybe not a lot, but it's like, I'm a great...
I would love to see what he actually disagrees with Nick on.
All right, and whether you like it or not, that's what I am. That's the content I'm going to make. So the people that have been supporting me truly, and not just kind of trying to shit everywhere, thank you guys so much. Thank you so
I wonder, does he disagree with Nick on the age of consent question?
much. You know, it means the world, and it's so awesome that we can have these conversations and that we're winning the argument. But don't think it's slowing down. Don't think it's going to stop. The strategy is going to change a little bit, but I mean, everything evolves. Next year is going to be more exciting than this year, and that's going to be good and bad. There's going to be a lot
Oh
of
yeah, it was very exciting. 2026 is already very exciting for Nick and his Gripers.
crazy shit that's going to happen. Make no mistake
Gripers having a run defense for Nick's latest hot
about it,
take.
but we just need to be prepared. We need to be sticking together, and we need to be willing to have these conversations and to criticize the people that need to be criticized, because that's what's ultimately going to win, is people becoming aware and starting to actually talk about these things in a way that is constructive and promotes critical thinking, in the sense that they're not going to just follow the slap. They're not just going to follow the bullshit. They're not going to buy it.
This is literally one of those surfer games. Holy shit, dude.
They're going to ascend and overcome. And that's
even got the grappling
just
hook
step one.
and
A lot of
shit.
people say, well, what do we do? What's the game plan? The game plan is to keep doing what we're doing, because it's working. If you think I'm wrong.
Because the original surfer game was kind of a mod, wasn't it? So like this game, this seems like one of those games, it was built from the ground up to be one of the surfer games. It's not even a mod. Somebody just like made an actual game from the ground up that's just like one of those modded surfer games.
Go back, watch some of my earlier videos, and then you'll be like, holy shit, these things actually did happen. These people are saying the things that Tom said they were going to say. They're talking about remigration. They're repeating the same rhetoric. What we're doing is working. And that's why they're afraid, and that's why they're threatened, and that's why they're going to respond. But you know what? When they do that, we're going to be ready. And it's as simple as that. But that's the end of the video. I just wanted to...
Okay. So sure, bro. Sure. It's all Nick. Nick is the one. It's because of you guys. It certainly wasn't just because that's the general direction things are going in, and you're just taking credit for other people's work. That's definitely not what it is. Gore Noise Bulldozer, thank you for $2. Ever heard of the game 420 Blaze It 1 and 2? No, I have not heard of that. Let me see. 420 Blaze It 1 and 2. Is it like hold on, let me see. Oh, let's see. No. Oh, okay. It's one of those parody of first-person shooters. Oh, that seems interesting. Let's see. Randall Shirker. The West will be saved by the E-Daddy with the biggest patron. I mean, that's what people used to believe with the skeptics. They used to, and you know, I pick at Sargon a lot. I will say this, to Carl's credit, he did at least try. He did at least put himself out there. He did at least go out there and take the milkshakes to the face and become a national lolcow for the United Kingdom. Nick Fuentes has never, ever, ever his entire career put his neck out like that for any cause, ever. MikeynohMore, thoughts on Turkey Tom gooning to the... Bro, are you serious? Turkey Tom goons to the Avatar movies. How is there more coming out? It's like, you know, I stayed away from Tom's Kiwi Farms thread because I'm like, I don't want to read about this. I keep coming back. There's like dozens of new pages like every few hours. How is there more coming out? Holy shit, dude. I don't know. Maybe I will end up talking about Tom in the future. Anyway, that was all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to talk about. I'm glad you guys came around and shit. Holy shit. Tom turned out to be a fucking animal, dude. Like, actually. That's crazy. Let me, real quick, let me put you guys on game. Tell you guys all where all of the playlists are going to be. They're going to be here. Nah, wait, that's the wrong place. They're gonna be, no. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay. Okay. This is where the playlist, where all the VODs will go. I'm going to put this in here as soon as we're done, right? Be in a few minutes. And that's it. I want to appreciate all you guys for happening. What's your next video about? I don't want to spoil it, but it will be out within the next 2-3 days. I'm hoping on Monday. It might be on Tuesday, but it will be out very, very soon. And you guys are going to look forward to it. It came out a little late. I was trying to put out 2 videos this month, but hey, whatever, we get it where we get it. There will be more content coming out this year. Appreciate you guys for tuning in for the stream. Thank you. I'll see you later.